Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Fire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Assassin. Radiant team pick.
Enchantress.
Radiant team ban.
Doing great. We've seen an explosive performance from Polaris Esports just a while ago up against Motivate Trust, dominating in first and second games. Boom Esports did the same thing to Motivate Trust, and they're sending a message. We know Gary, their CEO, has been very vocal about how he feels where they are in the DPC, so I think the team is out to prove a point. We'll see how they hold up against Polaris, who has been on a major hot streak, and we do have a great draft opening already, Mike. Polaris, they take the Snapfire first pick. They had first pick, snag up the Snapfire. Very open for Polaris. Again, recalling Lelouch, recalling Mac, I don't believe he was one of the players that ran a lot of mid Snapfire when it was the hot stuff, but he just dealt with a mid Snapfire himself in the last game. He knows what to expect as someone playing against it, and I think that also means that he should know how to play it if he wants to play it in mid. Very open for Polaris there. They get the Undying as well, likely our Mavis hero on the 5, and we have seen the Undying provide so much sustain, so much team fight presence as well for the teams that did prioritize it. We haven't seen much of it in the past few days, but in the group stage, that Undying was key to a lot of teams in winning out early on. So great opening from Polaris already, Mike. Boom. Start steady. Nyx Assassin, Enchantress coming through. Nyx to cancel off the Snapfire Kisses with a Spike Carapace, a very easy way to ensure that spell's not going to do too much work. And the Enchantress, of course, we've seen him specialize on that pause for Enchantress, just being a massive nuisance. The opposing team blocking off camps, taking large creep, harassing out on lane quite hard. We'll see if Polaris will be ready to play against that, but if it is a Snapfire Undying support duo, they don't have an easy way to kill off that enchanted creep.
Dire team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think the DK for Lelouch, he played this matchup in game 1 versus Motivate Trust today, so he knows what to do against Alina. It's a very passive lane for both sides. Alina might want to pressure more in the first 2 levels. Once you have level 2 Dragon's Blood, it's a pretty easy lane for the DK to just manage. So going to be a static farming lane for Lelouch this game. Perhaps Boom can look to leverage their supports to get some early rotations. With the Ench Nyx, some good control that can come true, that might be enough to pin down the DK. That's something Polaris will have to watch out for, especially since Tim's on the Ench again tends to take that early activity for the team. Polaris do go into the Legion Commander now, so a fairly stable off-lane pick for Force, nothing too flashy. You've got a great Dispel now to kind of handle the enchant slow, to take off some of the stuns coming up from the opposing team. Once you have the shards up, that spell immunity does a ton of work as well against the Lina Ench. Nothing much to really pierce through that window of spell immunity here. Going to be very useful for Polaris to play with. And that kind of ties in very nicely with the Undying Soul Rip heal as well. So a lot of sustain coming through from Polaris. Not much team fight though. Their AoE control building up isn't quite there. Their best area denial is still Kisses and the Tombstone, but they don't have anything to kind of hammer in that Kisses. And probably boiling back to what you said, Mike, with Nyx around, you don't really want to emphasize the Kisses too hard because it's just completely countered. So they're going to have to look for a different approach there. But still a solid set of picks for Polaris. I think this does lead to that sort of early game momentum we'd like to see them play with. LC plus Snapfire as a dual lane can be pretty strong as well, but boom, straight to Razor. And those 2 heroes they just picked in Polaris do not deal with the Razor all too well. In fact, none of their heroes do. Maybe Snapfire's range so she can kind of get out. You have a Cookie to maybe widen the gap between you and the Razor, but otherwise, Razor has a lot of good targets to just static link here.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team bad.
Hmm.
Seconds remaining.
It really is. Like, you don't have the best stuns to cancel off his chains outside of Dragon Tail. Maybe a Cookie can land as well, but it's not like they have magical burst here in Polaris. They do have Decay to soften up the Timber Saw, and that can kind of work against it. It's a durable hero. It's going to be up front for a long time, so you can build up Decay stacks in the Undying. It's not a very quick process though, and by the time you build big Decay stacks anyway, the rest of your team might be dead. So it could be a great pickup for Boom. I think the Timbersaw pick would kind of... it wouldn't build up for more team fight for Boom Esports, but they are looking to play really aggressive. I think when you have a Razor, you're not necessarily looking for wide AoE control. You have your win condition on the Lina, so you kind of just run and gun. Play this pick-off game early on, overwhelm, take objectives, and towards the late game, maybe your teamfight execution falls flat for the Timbersaw without that control, but your Lina is still going to be able to provide a lot of forward damage, and all the Tim needs to do is kind of cop the initial hits for the team. Not a lot of good options when you're having to deal with a Razor. Melee heroes are really tough. A Troll might be one way to do it. but you will need, again, a way of just running away from Razor and kind of prioritizing that. They go to Naga instead. An interesting pick for Polaris. So they've got a bit of a combination there. Song into Kisses or the Ensnare into Kisses could be nice. The AoE clearing from Boom isn't amazing, but it's not bad. You've got Razor with the Plasma Field. You've got Lina with Dragon Slave. So there are enough ways to shift through the illusions and take them out. But there are still some good spikes for the Naga. I think Naga Siren hits a really big stride once you hit SNY and Diffusal, or Manta Diffusal. It's a really big timing for Naga. And it is the Timbersaw coming out from Boom. So it does make it true, giving them more illusion clear for Boom's side. And you talked about Timbersaw not being great, Mike. It is an FBZ signature, right? Like, it is something you used to excel in, especially in the old Boom lineup. Yeah. No, I didn't say you... I didn't say you said it wasn't great. I didn't say you... I said it's a special office. I mean, you said, you know, recently it hasn't been picked. Yeah. Okay, maybe my wording wasn't quite right, but it wasn't picked recently. It does come out. FBZ special. One of his actual early signatures. I'd actually weight this above his Mars and above his Beastmaster. It's just something we know he's played for more than 2 years now. So should have a decent lane against Naga. They do have a good way of holding down the Timbersaw now, but all you really need is like a Lotus Orb, then you can kind of just self-dispel off, be protected. They don't have the best way to still rip through the Timbersaw. Even though the Diffusal might annoy the Timbersaw down the line, when he has no mana, he can't really play. He's still going to be that tanky frontliner. And again, for Boom, all their scaling is on Yopaj anyway. Believe that. Absolutely. Of course, Mike. You know, should be a great window. Like, I would give Boom the slight advantage for the draft. I think Yopaj, whenever he has the win condition for his team, he always delivers. I think Mushi will be able to adapt to that Razor. Lately, we've seen Mushi in farm-heavy heroes. Razor, not so much, but this will allow Mushi to play a lot faster and, again, buy space for the Lina, build up. I think the timings of Boom are just really strong, and the heroes they have are within their comfort zone here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it, John. We'll get into game number one. See how this one does pan out. Of course, I think most people watching would probably agree Boom Esports are looking like the big favorites in this grand final. Best of 5, though, absolutely any... Of course, you've got a bit of chemistry here between the two teams as well as Nuts. Great, on great terms, Arjun and Scam and everybody else. In fact, Mushi's even getting tipped. He'll send it back to Xavius. Everyone's happy this grand final. Very good to see.
Yeah, you know, we didn't really mention it, but this is a Rambulan. We're just not used to it because we used to be Indonesian.
Mavis, already getting caught out. Enchant was there. Impel's going to land. They should be able to secure this. FBZ gets the chains forward, or maybe they can't. Mavis is a bit of a tanky support, but not for long. FBZ does get through him. First blood towards the Timber. That's a really nice start here for FBZ.
Oh, yeah. Allows him to rush into that Soul Ring timing a bit quicker. And once you've got that up, it's going to be really easy to maintain your spell spam, maintain your laning presence, and ride through the lane just nice. Great pickup for Boom. Polaris still going to be looking to maybe snag away more bounty runes than you'd expect, playing with the Naga illusions, but that's one shortcoming of Naga versus the Enchantress. You can just enchant one illusion away, and suddenly you have information as well on Boom's side.
Yeah. Impel again from Scam. Mushi, he's not going to bother wasting his time here. He just wants the creep wave. Could get some decent damage out on Xavius with the static link, but why bother? It's just an Undying anyway. Speaking of that Undying, though, Xavius does play the POS 4 Undying here. Now, John, you're known to be an Undying spammer. POS 4 Undying compared to POS 5, what's the big differences here for Xavius?
You have an easier ride up to additional items. I think on the POS 5, you're kind of relegated to just a Soul Rip bot. on pause 4, you've got a longer lane to play with. So it's mainly the laning that changes. You can be more aggressive. You can look to make use of your early decays a lot better. The one issue is you can't really do much to stop the Razor. You can maybe decay him down 8 strength points, but he's still a fairly tanky target as well, has decent starting HP, and it's not like the LC has a lot of burst to play with against that until maybe level 2 overwhelming odds. I think for the first 2 levels, it's still fairly passive for the Undying. You can see Xavius doing what he does every game, pulls back the second creep wave, trying to get his EXP up to just hit his level 2 spike and get maybe a little bit more gold going towards more regen or the move speed coming out here.
Okay, fair enough. Of course, over in the mid lane, you've got your Page again. We talked about this last series, but this lane between the DK and the Lina can be quite boring. Not too much to expect here, I think, from either side. You've got a little bit of kill potential, but you are going to be expecting some rotations from the supports to make that kill happen. And I believe every time we talk about it, you generally agree that it's usually a pretty even lane between the two.
Oh, for sure, Mike. It's just a very static lane. It's a very boring lane. You just build up farm. The excitement comes from supports, and I think I'd give Boom the edge there just because they've got the Enchantress. So I think if Tims can sneak his way around, grab a nice large creep by the time he hits level 3, you can expect something to come out for the Lina, but it's still a tough target. Lelouch has the level 2 Dragon Blood, so it's just going to be smooth going for the DK in terms of clearing out the creep wave as well.
Okay. Over in the bot lane, of course, the last side lane left, FBC and Tim's going to be against Natsumi and Mavis. Looking at this laning phase, I feel like Natsumi should be okay on the Naga. I mean, it can be a little bit annoying against the Ench, but you got pretty high armor. And FBZ, he's going to take a few levels to get up and really start to get aggressive on the Timber. Is there a point, do you think it gets a little bit more difficult for either side, John? Or are we expecting both sides to be fine here?
I think it gets better for the Timbersaw as the lane goes on, especially once you hit your level 4 spike. This is where it starts to feel better, where you can go for a 1-1-2 build. So you're really tanky with reactive. There's not much magic damage coming through from Polaris' end. They have the little Shredder to remove some of the armor, but Timbersaw is still really tanky when he gets full stacks of reactive. And once you have that point in the Whirling Death, you can melt down either the Snapfire or the Naga Siren. And for the Naga, it doesn't get easier. I mean, sure, you might get more points in Riptide, you might get more mirror image illusions, but that really plays the benefit of Timbersaw getting more armor up.
Lelouch, he's forced the Fairy Fire up, and that was the rotation we were talking about from Tims. But now Tims, he might be in trouble. You've got the slam from the Tomato, but he's been stunned up. He could not get it off in time as the cookie landed on the Hellbear Smasher to boot. So Lelouch is going to be able to survive, and Mavis, with a very nice rotation, is going to be able to secure a pick off onto Tims.
It's a great kill to get. It does help Lelouch kind of build up some EXP, but Yopaj gets a wave to himself. So I think you kind of take that trade if you're not too upset. You get a free bottle refill from Tim's TPing back to mid, and that means Yopaj should hit level 5 into level 6 a little bit quicker. Once you have that Laguna up, you make that same move again, it's going to be a lot easier to kill off that DK.
Absolutely. It's up a top lane, Tombstone being dropped. I suppose just to zone them out, make sure that Force can take the creep wave without being harassed too much by this Razor. And speaking of, I don't think we've seen so much impact from Mushi yet. Generally speaking, when you look at the lane against the LC, you would think that the Razor should have a pretty decent time. But I think Force has done a pretty great job of being able to remain in the lane without taking too much harass. Of course, it may go back to the fact that he can just spam over, but that hasn't really been the case either. They just keep pulling the creep wave away, and that seems to be doing the trick.
Yeah, it's just down to Xavius again, playing that and dying as he usually plays his pause 4. Pull the creep wave, get EXP, make it shove in, and make the Razor a bit worried about running into the Legion Commander. You still have that range advantage on the LC, but when you cut off the Nyx Assassin in that duo, that means you kind of lack that control to get max value from your static link, and it's a pretty hefty spell in early levels to commit. It's a 35-second cooldown at level 2, so you can't just kind of toss it out willy-nilly, and that does lead to this much more conservative laning phase for Mushi here.
Okay. I mean, I suppose at least he is getting quite a bit of CS here on the Razor, so we kind of saw it the other day as well. The Razor not so reliant on being able to dominate lane early anymore, but can kind of snowball a little bit throughout the mid to late game now. It's a lot stronger once you get those items up. It's every lane right now pretty even between these two teams. You do still have Tims rotating around on the Enchantress just around that mid lane to try and slow down Lelouch, but of course Mavis is still there camping the mid lane to boot. And we're even going to have a rotation in from Xavius now. So both Mavis and Xavius going to show up in the mid lane. Xavius, not really going to do too much. He'll get a sentry ward down, but won't find an observer. A lot of commitment into the mid lane, but nothing's really coming of it.
I think they're setting up for the 6-minute power runes. They want to deny that away from Yopaj. He's got level 6 up. So the Laguna Birth is there. If you combine that with a haste,
they're going.
Devastating.
Yeah, he went for that power rune. They used it as bait, even though he knew the Undying was around. Perhaps not realizing Mavis was also here. He does get taken down, and with that Dragon Form, John Lelouch, he's going to be able to get a lot of damage onto that tier 1 mid tower. And don't forget, you've also got that siege creep available. So it should be some substantial damage.
A lot of damage, and you're not safe here for Tims.
No, you are certainly not. He'll heal up through it, but the siege creep is still alive. Lelouch will just tank the tier 1 tower as much as he needs to. Tims, he's trying his best to force them away. Lelouch now has been enchanted up in your Page. He'll rotate. Light Striker 8 does connect, and you still do have the Laguna Blade with the Impale out. That'll be enough. Xavius now the one in trouble, but he should be able to get out. Skem doesn't have another Impale for another 5 seconds. In the end, Boom Esports, it was a bit of a struggle, but they do successfully defend that mid-tier 1 tower. It has just taken a lot of damage though.
They can reflect that damage back to the opposing tier 1 though. No Dragon Form for the defense. Yopaj has the right-click damage just coming in with level 1 Fiery Soul. It is enough to chip away, and that kind of equalizes the state of the mid-tier 1. You've also got the big creeps coming through now from our Ench. You've got the Satyr Tormentor. The additional HP regen makes it a bit tougher to shove out the waves, and makes it easier for Tims as well to clear out his own creeps with that Hadouken coming out. So they can now apply their own pressure. They free up the side lanes as well here, Mike. So Boom, without the supports, Natsumi's forced to go away. FBZ is at level 7. He's got so much damage. The Nagas aren't already jungling. Whereas you compare that situation for Mushi, he's still holding lane, still taking laning creeps, getting a lot more gold because of that movement out. Polaris, they kind of sacrificed your side lanes there.
That they do. It's one of those things with FBZ. I mean, we talked about this yesterday in the upper bracket final, but he can be the spine for the team. You know, he's the real backbone. You've got to be very careful not to give him too good of a game. And right now, he's having the best game on the map. Your Page is behind him, but either way, still Jewel up top lane. They're going to find Mushi, but the Jewel is not going to last very long. Mushi, he'll survive. Cookie, though, is going to land, and they'll turn right back around. And they are able to take down the Razor. There's now Skem. Will try to go for a run. He should be just fine. But they've already got that big target they really wanted.
Yeah, they found a Razor. It does provide a little bit more breathing room here for Polaris. I think you have to worry about how much Yopaj is getting. Like, I don't think it actually matters too much how much the Razor dies, because your win conditions that lean, and Yopaj is just clearing out this massive set of stacks. They aren't able to make moves on mid because they commit so much on top. You do manage to drop that mid low, but here comes FBZ to intercept any sort of aggression now.
And that was the real strong suit of being able to defend that tier 1 mid earlier on, just a couple minutes ago. You give the time for FBZ to get those levels up, and now he can just hold the mid tier 1 indefinitely. As you see how confident he is, Mushi, he'll join in as well. They just cut them off right into the Impale of Lelouch. And it looks like the DK has no chance, but maybe he does. The Soul Rip is going to make it in time. Mushi now dropping low himself. They just keep the heals up on this Dragon Knight, but FBZ, he's back in again. Impale, not going to be on the mark. Skem, he whiffs it, and that should be it. Boom. They'll need to leave the area now. They have bought plenty of time for the creep wave to just chip away at that mid-tier 1. And in they go again. FBZ, not quite done. It's a bit more chip damage onto Mavis. It even forces another rotation back in from Xavius, but FBZ, he gets the kill, and they got the Jewel out, but they haven't got the damage output. He might barely survive, but no. Overwhelming odds in the end will be enough. Tims could not reach in time to get the heal off for FBZ. I suppose killing off the Timber going to be pretty darn great for Polaris.
He managed to get a very significant kill this time, because I think Timbersaw needs that snowball start more than anyone else. So you slow down FBC's timings and for the rest of his items, slowing down the Sanj and Kaya, and you still manage to hold on to your own mid-tier 1 here for Polaris' side. The issue is still the core-to-core matchup. Yopaj is still having a better time than Natsumi on her Naga. Sure, the Naga's got room now up top, has the triangle that she cleared out, but the Naga's a bit slower to progress and a bit slower to hit the power spikes. The Lean is going to hit those power spikes a lot faster. Travel's already up on Yopaj. He's got the mobility to show up in any lane, and if he does choose to commit after quick BKBs up, the Lean is going to be ready to rip and tear, and I don't think Polaris has enough to deal with a Travel's BKB Lina by, say, the 12-13 minute mark.
I think that's fair, John. Polaris just doing a great job of just taking the time he needs to get that BKB up. Polaris not quite getting the objectives as early as they would have liked in that mid lane, but they will find Tim's down a bot, and that'll be the first bit of dual damage here for Force. In the meantime, though, Natsumi ends up dropping on the Naga, and they're gonna find Xavius. So a much bigger kill here for FBZ. In fact, make that a double. It's Tombstone there for him to take. Nice and free. FBZ? Back for it, sir. He'll have a bit of a laugh. He wanted to be a show-off, John. He wanted to right-click with the chain. Oh, and now he misses the chains. Well, this is getting embarrassing, FBZ. Just leave the area, sir. Mid lane. Lelouch gets stunned up. He's all by himself. They know everyone rotated to try and get FBZ, but Lelouch, no, the right clicks from Yopaj are going to be more than enough. And they'll go ahead and finish off that mid-tier 1 tower.
Not going to take too long. Factor really using FBZ well. He's just cutting off any sort of defense that can come out from Polaris, holding back Tree Heroes from trying to get the deny off. And Boom now 5-7, very close on the kills, but 6k net worth lead, Mike. The gap between Yopaj and FBZ, even Mushi up against Natsumi, Lelouch, and Force is massive. The cores of Polaris are just under-farmed, and they need that initial farm, especially Natsumi here.
Well, they're doing a great job of cutting off Tims. Tims really enjoys hanging around this area as the Enchantress, and we've seen this multiple games from him, but they continue to just throw numbers and punish him. I mean, you might make the argument, though, that Boom, they may be okay with this, because the rest of the map is completely open for them. So everyone's rotating to try and get Tims, but you are also giving free dual damage away to Force. So you've got to ask, is it really that impactful for Boom for him to be there?
I think it still is. I don't think your LT is getting enough damage with level 1 duel anyway. Maybe if this was a level 2 duel, those kills would feel a lot more impactful, but level 1, you can kind of afford to have the Enchantress give space away like this. So, still worthwhile for Boom, as they still are accelerating to those item timings, and it looks like we will get Yopaj's BKB at about the 14-minute mark, 14.5-minute mark. And once that's up and running again, the Lean is just going to be ready to go. Mushi, his Yules will line up right at that moment as well. So it's going to be really easy to get the setup for the LSA, the setup for multiple stuns coming out, get a longer duration static link on the Razor, and of course more move speed. With Phase Boots and Yules up, you should be able to hit near max move speed on the Razor with a Phase Boot active there. Just chase anyone down.
Off lane, he's been caught out by Skem. Yopaj will be there with the follow-up damage, and Lelouch, oh, he thought he maybe could have survived with the stick charges, but doesn't quite. In the meantime, though, Tims, well, this time he'll be fine. Mushi, he'll join in, but the Tombstone has been dropped. They'd love to find themselves a Razor pick-off, but they won't be able to snag it. Not 100% confident in their ability to take down this Razor. Even Natsumi down at the bot lane, he's going to be forced to TP out of that area, realizing Mushi could just bully him once he does make his way over. However, topside, Skem, very confident with that position, but he has a haste rune. They can't really hold him down, and now FBZ's going to join in, take some illusions away. Cookie, though, is going to land. FBZ, he'll get ensnared up. They have the follow-up stun. He's still a very tanky boy. Chains out. Do they have the follow-up damage? They'll commit the song. Jewel is there from Force. He might just commit it straight off the bat, and they'll finish FBZ off. So 5-man rotation again from the side of Polaris, but they do at least get the kill onto FBZ.
And that's a much bigger kill for Polaris now, punishing that aggression from Boom. Maybe expecting a bit too much from the durability of the Timbersaw early on. With just the Kaiju Sange, it's not as big as, say, an early Vanguard for physical damage protection or the Hood of Defiance for magic protection. It's mainly just the stat resist and forward presence for fight, so you're not actually able to put your body all that much forward compared to those other item builds. But it is still paying off for Boom. Despite these kills, Mike, Boom still has an 8k lead. So even if these solo pickoffs are coming out, it's not enough for Polaris to regain a net worth parity here. Boom is still working the map a lot better despite losing some cores, and you are still going to hit that exploding point for the Lina. It does have the BKB up. It's off to the Silver Edge next for Yopaj.
What they got there mid? FBZ's right back into that triangle now.
Tower has fallen.
They want to try and force another fight as Yopaj trying to go on to Xavius, but doesn't have anything to set up like the Yule Scepter. Won't matter though, they still control the map. It's very aggressive here for Boom as they're 9k ahead in terms of net worth. Did you look back at Natsumi, John? In terms of farm, this is a Naga Siren, and he's still behind the Mushi Razor. It kind of goes back to how many numbers they have to bring to just kill off Tims over and over again. But it has really affected Natsumi's farming.
Yep, he doesn't have too many safe areas to farm. The constant aggression from Boom in the triangle forces Natsumi to play in the bot jungle, which is nice. It's still a wide area, but there's some good vision. There's always the threat of rotations. It's fairly dark for Polaris in the bot jungle as well. So Natsumi's always going to have to play slightly conservative, and the build-up is going to take a while for Naga. The breaking point for Naga tends to be the Fusel and Manta. In this case, Natsumi rushes the Manta first. You might even just skip out the Diffusal at this point. We tend to see tanky Naga Siren builds also work. Say a fast Scotty, a Heart coming down early on could also help the cause. That could be one way Natsumi itemizes, but it'll take a long time. And there's still a bit of a damage issue going that sort of build without the Diffusal. I think you're going to be hard-pressed to kill off the Timbersaw fast enough to take care of the Lina as well. I think that's the big back and forth. Like, FBZ might die, and he has died a couple of times, but can you actually kill him fast enough that you can grab the Lina right after before she casts her spells? Likely not.
I believe you are correct, John. They can't really even kill the Enchanted Creep right now. They tried. Proving to be a little bit too tanky. Tims, I mean, again, he has been very annoying on this Enchantress, just keeping all the lanes pushed in. One of the strengths of having the max enchant is the amount of bonus damage your creep does get. The fact that you can just send it into a lane to farm for you. Polaris now feeling like they have to be ready to defend that bot tier 2 tower. Jump in FBZ, he's gonna get jeweled immediately. They might have the damage this time without all the bonus armor, and they will. In fact, Lelouch, he's trying to jump onto Yopaj. BKB was there in time, however. Lelouch, he's just trying to back for now. Song was committed to boot. Yopaj, the BKB finally wears off, but Lelouch is so darn low, he will drop to Mushi, but they surround the Lina. It's a much bigger kill for Polaris. Boom Esports, they lose 2 big calls and they'll have to leave.
That was a bit of an overextension coming out from Yopaj almost. Like, I think he overestimated his damage output. The DK is still really tanky, right? Like, with a BKB you can last long, but you didn't have the follow-up. They didn't have the Nyx around to cancel off the kisses as well. It's still Natsumi.
Natsumi's trying to be a little bit cheeky here. Tims, he realizes which one the real one is and now does find it. Mushi, he'll join in. Skem, they've got the Impel with the right click as well. They do lose Tims, but if you get Natsumi, it'll be well worth it. Still Natsumi's not dead yet. Jules out as well. They've got Skem down. Mushi, he's still going to try after Natsumi, but the man is still running. He might be able to make it out. Mushi, don't lose the fog, sir. Oh, he's run to the right. The plasma field, it's not going to reach, but FBZ, he knows where he is. Oh, so close for Natsumi, but so far, 8k net worth advantage does remain for Boom, and in the meantime, up at top lane, Xavius does end up dropping to Yopaj.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bounce back in for Boom. They lost that last fight pretty hard. It took them a little longer to find Natsumi as well. It does pay off. And now you're hitting this spike for Yopaj. It's Shadow Blade up, Silver Edge not too far off. And that's the DPS spike we're looking for beyond the survivability the BKB has. And with that break, that Dragon Knight's not going to feel very tanky anymore. So you have to watch yourself here, I think, for Polaris. You need to kind of keep that aggression we saw last time. They need to play around their kisses timing and maybe isolate Skem. If they know Skem somewhere else, they can certainly use all their spells to find those kills.
And they're going to find Mavis, just trying to get a D-ward off on the Snapfire. BZ will chase him down. I believe Lelouch has also been caught out up at top lane. He does get a nice stun off onto Yopaj, but oh, it may not matter. Dragon Slave is going to land, but they have Soul Rip. The Soul Rip will be enough to barely allow Lelouch to get himself out. So even FBZ was still trying to cut him off. It just didn't quite make it in time. As they at least found the Snapfire though, so FBZ, he was a little bit preoccupied at the time. But never mind the kills anyway. They'll go straight after Roshan.
It's not going to be the quickest rush in the world. The damage output of Yopaj without the crit stick isn't that high, but it will still fall. Polaris have to force the fight there. They've got the kisses ready. They've got the song ready. They can look for a big opportunity here.
They can, but the rotations are coming in. The duel immediately out onto Scam. That'll be one. Down already, but they move forward anyway. They still want to try and force the fight. BKBs are up, so the Song is doing nothing right now. It's Natsumi. He's still trying to just run away from Mushi, but the Song, it just wears off. The BKB was too long of a duration. Now Lelouch, he'll be jumped by FBZ, gets shredded by the whirling axes, as Force is still trying to run away as well, but probably won't make it, as Mushi is right there to get the job done, and they'll find another. Xavius, he is the last piece of the puzzle. He'll run towards the north though, but Scan is out. They did find him for a second. Xavius, he'll be fine. The TP is enough. But it's a 4-for-nothing trade. In fact, I say nothing, John. Scam did end up dropping on the Knicks, but it may as well have been nothing.
Yeah, I don't think they get too much from killing off Scam. He broke that smoke rotation. He forced them to use a lot of their initial control onto a support. And Boom just manages to clean up afterwards. Great use of the early BKBs here from Boom. Mushi with the fast fingers right on the Song cast. His BKB lasted way longer than Song. He got 176 damage stolen from that duration, and Natsumi just couldn't do anything. Like, the Naga Siren is just not set to fight yet. 10k net worth, 1k behind a Razor doesn't sound bad, but you kind of want to be 4k above everyone else. You kind of want to leverage your illusions to farm, hit that Scotty timing, hit heart timing, and rip through heroes. We're not at that point yet for the Naga Siren, so a bit of a slower start for Polaris as Yopaj, he's got that silver edge up. He's looking to play.
And you've got no Song on Natsumi, so he doesn't... Oh, never mind. They've got the duel. They'll reinitiate back onto the Lena. They'll get the Aegis down. Still Scam. He's going to cut them off. Big Impale now? Not quite. He'll get one, but it's just the illusions. They'll have to try and settle for Force, but he's also running away. He's Lelouch now. He's in the middle of everybody. He will drop as a second. They've also jumped in onto Mavis, so they might have another kill onto the Snapfire, and they will. So you got the Aegis off your Page, but you end up losing 3 heroes. And the net worth gap, it just continues to increase for Boom Esports.
And Rube does 12 to 19, but a 16k lead for Boom. Despite all the kills, despite all the activity, the right cores are still finding farm for Boom. And Mushi's not resting. Look at this. He's just chasing Natsumi, preventing the Naga from getting even any small relief from his own triangle. He just can't go up there to farm.
It's off the back of FBZ Timber though, right? Like, this is something that FBZ, he's known for. He'll just chase you across the map on this hero. Just never leave you alone. And Mushi just kind of replicating the same thing on that POS 1 Razor. And it's all really going well and truly according to plan. Natsumi, he's just been stuck at 10.5k net worth. Again, on a Naga Siren. That is a very, very bad feeling. And the only kills they've really been able to find is generally Tim's on the edge. In the same area. Kind of works against them anyway, because again they've had to rotate 5 heroes at a time to just find Tims.
Yeah, it's just way too much commitment for that pause 5 Nyx, and he still manages to get the info out. That's what you really want from your Nyx assassin anyway, information finding. And even if he dies, that's information you can use. Side of Boom, I mean, it's just a steady build-up from here on out. Like, you're gonna see the Ags rush from Mushi, so the high ground push starts to accelerate. After that, probably the refresh for Mushi, double static link, double Eye of the Storm, easy towers to melt once you do manage to get into the high ground, and that's something Polaris has to be worried about because they don't really have counterplay for it. And you see Yopaj as well, trying to protect himself with Lincolns. So they just want to prevent duel. I think that's where Polaris has been finding most of their success. Force finding the angles to isolate a hero, get a good duel off. That's how they tend to win. The Lincolns, the mass Lincolns from Boom, because they already have one in FBZ, is going to make that a bit tougher. Still, you stall out long enough here, Mike, to give Natsumi his Scotty. He also managed to shove in the top lane to give a bit more farming room for that Naga Siren. Scotty does give a lot of good stats, a good slow, and good healing reduction. I don't think it's enough to really put a dent in Boom's momentum yet. You're gonna need a little bit more in that Nog gear.
Certainly do. Top lane, it was being forced in here, but FBZ is going to rotate, make sure it does remain defended. Not too much they can really do about it on the side of Polaris right now. Meanwhile, Scam mid lane just camping with the Vendetta. No sentry to really scout him out. He may run into one now if he's not too careful, but no, there's none here either. Just take back the outpost on Polaris while they can. But you know what that means. It probably means that Boom Esports is going to start running at them again. And as you can see, FBC and the rest of the crew, they're going to make their way over right into Natsumi and Xavius, who does already drop. In this song, you've just got to disengage. You can't fight right now. Just no chance of winning. Tims, though, he's still going to get a nice enchant off on Lelouch, but it is purged. They do at least manage to get everyone else out as FBC. Always chaining in the base as if there's a tree there, but I think FBC is just playing mind games now.
Yeah, just threatening, posturing around for the team. They have cleared out mid tier 2, so once they get the push going on the high ground here, they can transition to the mid, take 2 racks out. Mushi having the full axe. Look at these towers, it's not going to last long.
Certainly not. Very, very fast process here with Boom. Keep in mind, it's only Mushi hitting the racks right now. Yopaj not required to really do anything until they do make the jump in, and now they do. With the blade mail out, they'll try to blow up the Razor, but the nice impale out from Skem gonna put an end to it all. Natsumi, he'll keep trying to chase down the Razor, but he is looking in dire straits as they chain forward. They'll get another kill. Mushi does end up going down, but what does it matter? They'll go right after Lelouch. Another great impale from Skem, right onto 2 heroes. It may be time to call it, John. They call it, they've had enough. 25k net worth advantage. Boom Esports just completely demolished Polaris Esports in game number 1.
That is just ridiculous. Boom, they managed to bring back that win condition for Yopaj. They give Mushi a more sort of lane dominant hero, but definitely a tempo-based core. And
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Mars! Radiant team back. Blackleg. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think they've got to have a better lane matchup for Natsumi. Like, as you said earlier on, Mike, there are only so many heroes you can ban from FBZ, but I think the key thing is you don't want to give him an unplayable lane for Natsumi. So just take a pause one that's less situational. Like the Naga Siren was just completely counteracted by the Timber Saw in lane. We saw it early on. FBZ forced Natsumi into the jungle by the time he was level 5, I think, and he just overtook the lane. It was a bit of a slow start for your Naga, and your mid matchup wasn't that quick as well. You didn't have a massive win condition coming out there for Polaris, so I think they need to kind of compensate, maybe shift the duties of scaling around and give a little bit more for Lelouch to scale on, as I think that one-on-one matchup is a bit more manageable for him compared to having Natsumi just completely countered out. That could be the way to go, as we do see the initial draft here. Mike, Boom Esports starting off with a Snapfire and a Clockwork, and Polaris into the Nyx and Mars. So they've got the Snap counter, as we saw Skem play it in Game 1. Snapfire not going to have a good time getting the kisses off, but the rest of the kit is still really good. And I think for Boom, if they are just playing, say, a support snap once more on Tim's, we've seen them do that a couple of times, they're still going to have a good time. Your emphasis on the kisses is kind of gone. We've seen last time around he couldn't get any good kisses on Polaris' end, but if you play around with Scatter Blast and the Cookie instead, it can still feel really strong. They just kind of need to remove the reliance on the kisses, so they have to look for team fight elsewhere on Boom Esports' side, just so that they can have a little bit more control, more damage outside with Snapfire. I don't think it's going to be a mid snap this time around for Boom, as I think Yopaj does rely on those kisses to dominate the mid, but it's still open enough. Maybe Yopaj is confident anyway up against Nyx Assassin. He could just go for Travels, Blink BKB as his build up instead and still have a good time.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Mereska has arrived.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Monkey King. I think his Monkey King is the scariest Monkey King in Southeast Asia. Like, how do you get a pause 4 Monkey King that goes like 15-0-15 the last time we saw it? It's just ridiculous. He had Mage Slayer by what, 12 minutes as a support, pause 4? and he had more farm than the pause 1, or he had more farm than the offlaner in mid, I think, in that game. So I think that's something Boom can use really well. It provides information with her clockwork. So you've got the flare and the tree dance coming in to kind of let you gank around. Of course, you do have to worry about the Mars cutting trees down, and that could cause issues. They instead go to Pangolier first. So there's some flexibility here for Boom. We've seen the Tim's Pangolier. We've seen the FBZ Pangolier as well. I'm thinking that's Tim's because they don't know what FBZ is laning up against yet. So they get the Pangolier with a clockwork support likely now, and the Snapfire on mid. But again, you can still shift it around. Tim's could still play Snapfire. FBZ could take the Pangolier off lane, and that's still a really strong lane. Snap Pangolier, lots of control, lots of good damage. Little Shredder synergizes with a Swashbuckle quite well, and you can kind of just overwhelm Natsumi once more if the lane matchup does work out.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it really is. You know, it's a very low chance of it happening, Mike, but mid Rubik? How about mid Rubik? You know, it shifts away the emphasis on the Snapfire with the kisses, right? Because Yopaj, again, relies on the kisses. Rubik mid could work out. It's lane dominant with the Fade Bolt. You get... It has some good talent spikes. Oh, yeah.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Dire team bad. Radiant team bad.
Yep. They've got pretty scary synergy with Polaris. Ags morphling with Dark Willow, Mike. That's a busted combination with the damage you have there in that invulnerability form. So the morphling can opt to go for a right-click build with the Ags, and suddenly you can't kill him. You literally can't. Your AoE control is there on Boom, though. Kisses, again, if it does fly true, is there. You've got the Rolling Thunder to kind of hit him around in that invulnerability state. And to a certain extent, Clockwork with his targeted spells can kind of do that too, but it's still a major spike, and I think Polaris could look to play that way. We don't see that emphasized in Southeast Asia. I think other regions have brought out that Morphling Dark Willow combo, not so much in C, as we have seen it more of the Spirit Breaker and Wind Ranger, and of course the Shaker. But I think Polaris, if they look to experiment that way, this could be the play. Just go Morphling Ags with a Dark Willow and just machine gun them down with that spike. That's one way to kind of get a win over Boom, I suppose.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Maybe Lifestealer could work out. No, it was banned earlier on. Jug could give you the same thing against Mars. They go to Spectre instead, so they are giving themselves a bigger win condition now in Boom, because that's what they were really lacking. Scaling on Snap is good, but again, you might not hit that scaling timing with the Nyx and the enemy team. It's hard for you to snowball without the kisses up. So I think the Spectre gives Mushi that kind of here we've been seeing him play the past few days. Something more farm heavy, something less tempo oriented. There is the Ag spike for the Spectre as well. So you can choose to play around a haunt, have the hook shot to follow through, and the kisses coming out. Much easier as well to isolate out the Nyx. So you know when you jump in, you don't have to worry about the Spike Carapace once that Spectre has the Ags, and you can kind of commit in the hero. So I like that pick for Boom. Mm. Way back. Oh yeah, I can't remember. Oh, for sure, the big Ravage steals. That was like TI3 where Dendy was really shining on that. But I can't specifically remember. I will reveal this now. I actually didn't watch much of TI 1 and 2. I think it was TI3 when I really watched a lot. But yeah, I missed out on that classic. I didn't watch it live, I mean. It was at TI3 when I got my... It was right before TI3. No, actually, it's during TI2 when I got my Dota beta access. Because back then you still needed the code, I think, in TI2. And yeah, missed out. I was just playing dumb. I was building perseverance in everyone. But what's not dumb is Polaris' last pick. Batrider coming out here for their mid. It is a Yopaj snap, so we will have the Tim's Rubik. Not switching it out too far here for Boom. Having the Snapfire once more. The Batrider for Lelouch, though. The Snapfire can be overwhelmed by that. I think we used to see that in BTS Pro Series 3 or 4 again. This was the matchup we used to see often. And I think Abed and Yopaj kind of struggled against the Batrider. The turn rate of Snap becomes atrocious. You can't line up for a cookie save all too easily when Batrider's just dancing around you in circles. So I think Polaris have set themselves up well here. They have a great win condition in their Morphling. They have the team fight set up on their Mars. They've got the Nyx to break off Yopaj's Snowball. And they even have the Batrider for Lelouch to control the lane against that Snap. Draft-wise, I would say Polaris. I think Polaris' draft is a lot more well-rounded. They have this really good early spike with their Batrider and Mars. They can stall out for the Morphling to hit that Ags timing. Play there. They could still opt for the E-Blade timing as well. For Natsumi, if he does feel like he just wants to magically burst down the Spectre. That could be one route, but there's a lot of options for the Morphling. Whereas for Polaris, it just feels like their emphasis on early game is really strong. But all these four heroes, outside of the spec, if they do falter in the laning phase into the mid game in the first 20 minutes, it can be a bit hard to recover, and it just becomes the Spectre show. I think Polaris' draft is a bit more forgiving. When it comes down to execution, I still find that Boom might be able to pull it off.
Quite worried about my age these days and getting called Boomer by the younger ones out.
Yeah,
there you go, TI2.
Yeah, you know,
I'm old,
our
John.
admin
They can
Diggy.
forgive me.
Oh, you're not old, dude. He's just extremely young. Way too young for doing esports. That youngin'. Actually, if you remember, he's like super young. Like, strangely way too young.
Is he really?
And that's something like he have... Yeah, like, I think he's like... Okay, Doogie's gonna call me out when he reaches this, but like 22, 23? Maybe 24?
Wow.
And you know, all of us, I'm 28, you're 30, Zex is up there as well, Nina's up there, so... Doogie, we're not old, you're just young.
True. Very, very true. I mean, it was literally in the middle of the night as well for us back then, John, at TI1 as well. I mean, we had to be up at like, I can't remember, like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning to watch the games. It's a fun time. Very, very fun time. I mean, half the people watching didn't even believe the tournament was going to pay the prize money. That's how long ago it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. $1 million back then. That was insane.
It was insane. Like, to a certain extent, it still is somewhat insane.
Yeah.
But now we have even bigger figures, so who knows? Yeah. What else will be insane down the line here for Dota 2?
Yeah, I mean, some people like to compare animes, John. I like to compare prize pools. That's what how I dictate the better MOBA.
Oh, Mike.
Some people forgot about the war, John. I'm on the front lines all the time. I'm never forgetting. It's Mavis. Gonna get cut off here by Skem. Battery Assault gonna do a bit of damage there to Mavis, but he will be able to eventually outrun Skem. No issue here. Where is Skem going, though? Still hanging around the mid lane. No sentry wards available on Skem, so he's just gonna make the run back down bot. Yeah, seems like that is going to be the game plan. He'll just come back down bot, where we will see Mushi, of course, against Force and Xavius. Not the easiest lane in the world for the Spectre. I think Mushi should still be okay in terms of just being able to survive through it. But in terms of CS, it can be pretty rough.
Yeah, it's very hard to work this lane for the Spec, especially with a clockwork support. Like right now, Scam isn't even playing that area. He gets a D-ward off, he's going to walk back in, trying to give some solo EXP for Mushi to maybe hit his level 2 and feel a bit more secured. But there's a lot of damage coming through from Polaris here. You've got the God's Rebuke, you've got the Spear down the line, you've got a Bramble Maze to hook into the Spear, tons of control. And once you hit level 2, level 3 for Force and Xavius, it can become even easier to line up for those kills.
Oh, bot lane, Scam, he's got an aggressive now along with Mushi. Onto Force they go, because they couldn't keep going onto Xavius because of the Shadow Realm. You can never underestimate the amount of damage at level 1 with that battery assault on the clock. I believe it is one of the highest damage skills at level 1, if not the highest. So Scam being very aggressive already and making good work of it as he has another one available. Back on a Force, just won't leave them alone. In the meantime though, top lane, Natsumi ends up dropping an FBZ. That's something I wasn't quite expecting to happen this early, but well, there you go, they managed to make it work.
They had Natsumi at low HP for such a long time, and for a Morphling without a healing support, you can't really do the juggle your HP all the way down to 1 on max Agi, get fully healed up, go back to lane. The Nyx Assassin doesn't provide that for you, so you have to play this lane a bit more conservatively. Here's some good early damage here for Boom to play with a Swash, with a Shield Crash, and a Fade Bolt up. The lift control is really good as well. With level 2 up on Natsumi, it's going to be a bit harder to pull that off. He's got the waveform to retreat, and by the time he hits level 3, it becomes a bit more manageable for the Morphling. Still, you're not expecting too much aggression from out, but they do get a good stun on Tims.
But they do. They won't be able to capitalize though. I mean, it's kind of the weakness of the Morphling. You need to get to that level 3 mark to feel comfortable enough to make the jumps in with the waveform. And even then, these days the Morph would much rather just hit creeps if you can. Just get to that mid to late game timing and then become a real powerhouse. Till then though, FBZ going to be very aggressive on the Pango. Be as annoying as humanly possible. It's a bit rough as a pos 5 Nyx Assassin as well, because you've got the spells to just keep them away, but you miss the Impale, chances are Natsumi is going to be kind of screwed.
Yeah, you just kind of have to play it slow and watch for the forward aggression.
Oh boy, oh, yeah, you're still level 2 Natsumi. You can't do that. He didn't back off in time, and FBZ, he finds another pick off onto the Morph.
Okay, that's not good news for Polaris. Like, you want the Morphling to go off to a running start. It still kind of farms a bit faster than Spectre almost. Actually, that's a bit even. You do have better mobility on the Morph, but the Spectre can also jump through camps quite well. So you kind of want your Morphling to keep up pace, and you're already lagging behind in CS. Having deaths on hand also complicates the process. As even Mavis now dropping low. Does have 1 salve left. That's only going to heal 1 of your heroes, so someone's going to have to play a lot more conservatively, and I think for Natsumi, just keep holding out until you hit your Morbid Mask. That's when you can trade hits at the least.
Oh, bot lane, Scam ends up dropping a little bit low there on the clockwork, but he did not get caught by the Brambles. Meanwhile, mid lane though, Yopaj, he's going to find a solo pick off onto Lelouch, and that is not something you usually see as a Bat Rider. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Yopaj just able to pick him off on this snap. And in the meantime, top lane Mavis is going to die solo to Tims. Oh, this game is getting worse and worse already for Polaris.
And they're just finding all the wins in lane here for Boom. We talked about that top lane. They only had 1 source of regen, so someone was going to die. At the very least, it's Mavis and not Natsumi. Natsumi does hit his level 3. For the mid, though, if we talked about the Snap versus Batrider, and I expected Batrider to have a better lane, because this was the counter a year ago, and now Lelouch, he's a level behind. It's that kiss timing again. He's just completely shoved back. He just TP'd back in. He's going to have to waste his bottle to regen. It might be time to consider stacking up and clearing out camps instead to get your head start here.
Well, he's very lucky to survive. I mean, he avoids the cookie, and well, had that cookie landed, those kisses, once you get them initially going with the added slow, it can be a little bit hard to juke them out, but Lelouch barely avoiding the cookie this time around and is going to be able to at least feel a little bit safe while the kisses are on cooldown. I only say a little bit though. I mean, he did kill him without the kisses first off, so, you know, you're never really safe from Japoy. Lelouch will just try to catch up in terms of XP. He's going going to be just about 2 levels behind very soon. So again, just a very, very bad sign here for Polaris' top lane. Mavis, he's going to drop again, and Natsumi, he'll strength morph, but he is getting rather close to dying. FBZ, he'll go back in. Natsumi, really playing on the edge. He'll be okay. He'll survive another day, but you see Tim's, he's wrapping around. He's got the lift up in 5. He wants to land that fade bolt with the swashbuckle, but it's still not going to be enough. In the meantime, Yopaj finds Lelouch again. Skem rotates this time around, but it looks like it was a bit of a dive onto Yopaj, and it just does not pay off.
Yeah, I think Lelouch might be getting a bit trigger itchy here. Like, he's feeling pressure on mid. He expected to win out the lane a bit more. A lot of good plays from Yopaj. I think earlier on he managed to force out a TP bait. So he had 5 stacks of napalm, TP'd out. Lelouch backed off and just went back in on the Yuresh. Small plays like that piles on. Although they will rotate Xavier's here.
Yeah, they should have something. Brambles are there. Tim's, though, with the lift up, is going to try and save as Yopaj is still alive with the stick charges. Turns back around with the cookie scatter blast, but he should drop and does. Tim's might be able to find Xavius, but now the Firefly is there from Lelouch. But he's dropping low himself now. Curse Crown will at least force Skem back for a little bit. That'll allow Lelouch to get himself out. I suppose with the way this game's gone, you just picked up your first kill. You get the mid-snap fire. You've got to be happy with that.
It's a nice pickup there.
Nushi, bot lane, he is very low. He's going to try and man fight back. Force. One more hit away, but he couldn't get it, and now Yopaj. Well, you kill him in the mid lane, but then he shows up in the bot lane, and he still finds something for his team. Sure, you force Mushi back to the fountain, but he's going to be okay with that, I think.
Yeah, he lives. He didn't really have to try to bait out with a hunt. He just gets to reset. He can start playing in the jungle now, start building up on that Spectre, and still a really strong start for Boom. 7-1. Not much of a net worth lead this time around, Mike. Only 1K. And that is mainly on Japoy and FBZ right now. So you are still suffering a bit in the Spectre, but it's not like Mushi's lagging too far behind Natsumi. Overall, the pause once not having a great time on either side, but Boom definitely having the better end on their off lane and mid. And that's going to lead to that aggressive timing we expect. Rolling Thunder is ready on FBZ, just rushing into the blink. Yopaj travels almost up and the kisses fly in.
That they do. Tims does get the vision over for Yopaj, and of course, the kisses do go through the Shadow Realm. Yopaj will send Xavius to the Shadow Realm, ironically enough, for any Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there. Bot lane, bit of a dive in onto Force. Won't work out. John, I feel kind of ashamed to ask you, but have you watched Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I don't know, John. You've got a very acquired taste in anime. I've just got to make sure.
Hey, I watched all the classic kids animes, you know, the merchandising animes. Beyblades was one. Yu-Gi-Oh was great. Oh, Beyblade was outstanding. There was that revival Beyblade series I wasn't a big fan of, though. I forget the name.
No.
That was kind of weird.
Trash.
Still, classics, Mike. What is classic as well as this performance from Yopaj? Travels up, blink next, and it is the BKB rush, as we talked about from draft. So he just wants the BKB, spell immunity from the Spike Carapace, full use of the kisses coming true, and suddenly that Nyx counter pick isn't going to feel all too great as long as Yopaj understands when to pop that spell immunity here.
Just easy farming here for the snap. He's well and truly ahead of anyone else on the map right now, Yopaj, and this has been something that's just been continuously happening throughout the games we've been watching of Boom Esports. Yopaj, for at least the first 15-20 minutes, will just hold the net worth lead by himself. Still manages to have massive impact, considering how much he's farming. Still, mid lane, Cookie does land. Yopaj will get him with the Scatter Blast, but now you do have Lelouch who does show up. You've got Lasso available for Force. He'll drop the arena. They may have gone too far with the Rolling Thunder. FBZ, he's made it in time. Yopaj, he will drop in the end. Haunt is here though. Mushi, he'll join the team fight. They'll get the Mars down. Lelouch now, who do you want to go after? He still has the Lasso up, but he won't commit it quite yet. Terrorize is there. He might look for a way out instead, and it looks like he will. So a big win there for Polaris. You lost the Mars, but you get 2 in return. As long as they get this Batrider out of here, they should be happy with that. The FBZ still trying to chase, but can't quite make it. In fact, now Xavius gonna go in with the Cursed Crown. Headlam out as well. Impale, though, is gonna be off the mark. And Mushi Still posturing very aggressively on this Spectre, but can't do too much at the moment.
Yeah. Still a really strong pickoff for Polaris, finally taking care of that Snapfire, but it does give Boom the opportunity to group up mid and look for a push. Even at level 1 low Shredder, that's enough to do some work onto that tier 1 tower, and Polaris have to be ready for the defense. They still have Lasso up and Lelouch here.
Yep, nice lasso out. Mushi has been caught, and that'll be a very, very big pickoff now for Polaris. It's the kind of kills you want to see coming out. Lelouch, obviously, he had a very tough start to his lane on this Batrider, but he does have the comeback potential here and is making it work. In fact, now, Yopaj, spotted out by Natsumi, but that is a core snap, so Yopaj, he's going to be fine to run.
Bails out, travels up, move speeds up, very hard to chase down. Blink not too far off from Yopaj. They are applying pressure onto FBZ here.
Yeah, they've got him. Another nice setup here. Mavis getting an impale off, and Force, he'll just take over with the Arena Spear. Still TPs are here now. Yopaj, he's joined in on the snap. They want a bit of revenge. Skem, he's got the hook shot with the cogs up, and that'll be more than enough. Once you land it into the Mortimer's Kisses, they don't have enough mana though for the cogs. So Force, he might make it out. Can he juke around the Kisses? It does seem like he will make it. As now the chase is on, Lelouch will be there after Skem. Scatter Blast will not land either. They'll get one. They might even have another as the Impale will land a second time at FBZ. He's going to show up with the Rolling Thunder, and they are going to turn very successfully onto the Batrider. And it looked like a great start. Had a bit of an awkward turn there for Boom, but in the end, it still pans out for him.
And Mavis is not quite safe yet, FBZ.
Oh, Mavis. Yeah, he just gets chased down. Fair enough, FBZ just taking it all the way, picking up his 4th kill of the game now in the Pango. Suppose they will get back to just trying to push in that top tier 1 tower. Suppose in the meantime for Polaris though, they'll just be happy with the fact that Natsumi has been able to freely farm up. And actually has caught up quite well in terms of net worth, only behind the snap now. In fact, Force has shown up to boot. They've got Arena in 5. That's a great spear out onto Mushi, and they should have the kill. Mushi, he can't survive the damage output. They might be able to still turn. So the lift back is there on Force, but he has the Arena now. Still Yopaj, he's shown up again. Cookie in, he will get the Mars down, but now Natsumi gonna show up, go back in after the Rubik, and might even have something to say about the Snapfire, as the TP will not work out. Yopaj, he's very low on mana now. He might be able to just outrun them with the movement speed, but it doesn't seem that way. So FBZ showing up, but it's 1 by 1. And it might just be another kill to go the way of Polaris. Still Mushi, he'll rejoin. Yopaj is somehow still alive. He'll make it out as they take Mavis down. Lelouch now, he's the one that's trying to get the hell out of here. But FBZ's on the chase. Won't get the shield crash in time, however. Still swashbuckle to the high ground, but will not be able to lock down the bat.
Still a strong trade for Polaris. They managed to slow down that Spectre once more, keeping Mushi behind pretty much all the cores. I mean, Mushi is behind, but he's still above Lelouch and Force. So I think your Spectre relatively is still pretty well farmed. I think for Polaris, this win condition they have on the Morphling needs to build up more. The SNY has to fly through soon. Natsumi can start showing up to some early engagements, get some right clicks off, start to overwhelm Boom early on, as you know, the emphasis starts to shift from the snap to the Spectre, and Mushi's still a bit behind that aspect, but there's still a lot of room to go for Yopaj. You know, his blink is finally up, so he can look to make some great plays with a cookie now, and the blink scatter blast. And of course, again, that BKB is going to be a key timing for Yopaj. Once that's up, that might force Polaris to have to hold the Flaming Lasso just to catch that snap. They want to find that kill. And that means there's more room for FBZ to just roll around, more room for Mushi to just use the haunt, use the daggers to chase someone down.
Yeah. Mid lane, Tims. Yeah, I'll take the, what is that even called? The God's Rebuke. Doesn't really have a shield on the Rubik, but doesn't really matter. I'll still get it off. Might see a bit of a smoke up here from Boom. They will. Mavis was pinged out on the Nyx Assassin. He was under vision for a moment. In fact, now is again under vision. Not quite the target you really want to go after, so they'll go into that Dire Triangle instead, see if they can find a better target. In fact, they will. They'll find the Mars immediately into the cogs, and well, this time they had the mana. In fact, FBZ, he jumps forward with the Blink Dagger. He gets another. They've got the Dark Willow controlled up. But do they have the damage? It doesn't seem like it. Not quite yet, but FBZ, he's back in, and Yopaj does manage to get a double. It's Boom. They wrap around towards that tier 1 mid tower, and this time around they should have it.
Yeah, they're finally going to be able to commit, while doing so buying space out for their spec. Tims even has the stolen terrorize, so if there is a fight to break out, they can easily disengage now on the side of Boom, and they just take it unceremoniously. No defense coming out from Polaris, shrinking down the map of Polaris further, making it a bit tougher for Natsumi to share farm with Lelouch and with Force. Lelouch, though, at least has the boots of travel. It's up very close to that BKB. They still got the lasso. Smoke up.
Bot lane, they missed the spear, but they still morph in, get the cookie off, and now the terrorized Tims. He's stolen away. There's no strength morph out. Natsumi, he's going to be caught, and now Force. He'll try to run. Can they catch him? Maybe not. This committed. Mushi trying to find a way in. Get the Spectral Dagger off onto the Dark Willow. Xavius, let's get the Cursed Crown off in time. Terrorize is there onto FBZ, but Yopaj, he's got the Scatter Blast. Lane break though. Lelouch, do you want to reinitiate? Well, FBZ, he'll go in himself. With the Mortimer's Kisses out, they'll have plenty of follow-up damage. That'll be another kill for the Snapfire. What do you do? I mean, Tim's on this Rubik. He just catches Natsumi with his pants down. Maybe even about to catch Mavis, and does. It's a nice lift off. That'll be another one for the books here for Boom Esports. And Polaris, great start, but a terrible ending for this team.
Yeah, not the way that fight should have broken out. They were going for a smoke play in the triangle, while that entire play happened down bot, and they were just so slow to react, so slow to turn and help out their morph, their key hero, and trying to build up that win condition. Natsumi set back once more from that death, barely above FBZ's farm. Still a decent amount above Mushi, but 500 gold now isn't an item advantage at all, and Mushi's about to hit his Ag spike soon. Once that Ags is up in the Spectre, that aggression we were seeing from Boom Mike is going to kick up in gear. They're not going to be relying on just one big cooldown. They're going to have that Shadow step up to allow them to keep scouting out for single target pickoffs and keep cleaning them up.
Lelouch, very careful here as Skem. He's going to get caught, but he has the cogs and he still has the hook shot. In fact, you've still got the Terrorize. Tim's going to send him right back home. Polaris got to be very careful with these spells. That Terrorize just so impactful, and Tim's, he's going to have it up a couple times more before it does expire. Or at least one more time, as Rolling Thunder's going to be there. Hook shot right in onto the Nix. And that'll be Mavis. Impale out, he's going to try and buy a bit more time, but it's not looking great as FBZ. He's still on to another, onto Force, but they'll go back for Mavis instead. Leave the Mars bees, he is a bit too tanky. Them TP out, but it's a 20-9 now, 5k net worth advantage. I suppose the only big positive right now for Polaris is Natsumi is still well and truly ahead of Mushi, but it's only about 400 gold ahead right now, so it's not the biggest lead.
It's not enough to really have that spike on Morphling, and Tims is just watching him. What? Tims? What?
Oh, Tims!
Oh my god.
All right, Tims. Natsumi gives him the tip. I don't blame him. Just complete outplays here from Tims. It's one of those things as the morph, if you get lifted up, you can't strength morph, and Tims, he just takes full advantage with the impel he stole. Man, that's got to be so demoralizing for Natsumi.
And that was really good timing from Boom, though. They timed that rotation out. They've seen Natsumi in that area for a long time with his Obs ward. And Tims was making his way from that bot again. Discord issues again, Skem. Discord again. Gary, what's wrong with your Discord?
I can't take this seriously. I really can't. Oh, Discord. The irony is, John, we've been using Discord this whole time. I mean, to be fair, though, you've had a lot of camera issues over Discord, so maybe they are correct. I guess we can't make fun of the issues. Thanks to you, John.
No. The audio has been fine, right? Except for that one moment where I didn't know I disconnected. I think I went on a full minute ramble. Then when I reconnect, you're like, what? So it does happen. I can understand. You know, maybe someone's yelling on the mic and Boom, and everyone doesn't hear, and suddenly he's back and it's like, why didn't you guys react? It's like, you said something?
Yeah.
No, those kinds of issues can be jarring. So
no, you know what? I blame you, John.
Why?
Because Gary did ask. He needed some help with some visas into the Philippines. I tagged you in the tweet, and you said you quote-unquote helped him. But as far as I'm concerned, John, they aren't in the Philippines yet. They aren't in the team house. So this is your fault. This is why we're paused right now. If you did your job and got the visas, John, this wouldn't be a problem.
I'm sorry, I'm not as well connected as you'd believe. Still, Discord's fixed itself. I can stop embarrassing myself, but Polaris need to get a grip. They timed that again with the Ags of Mushi, so that rotation very patient out from Boom, and they're not done. Skem, he still has hook shot here if they want to play.
And he does. Onto Mavis they go. They'll haunt Mushi in. If I say haunt, but that is the shadow step up.
No, it's
he has got the early Aghanim Scepter. Oh, it was the haunt. Never mind.
Yeah, they used the shadow step to kill off Natsumi. So this time they had a haunt to jump the support, and now shadow step is off cooldown again. So they could look to keep jumping once the mana's up on Mushi.
And they go. Again, more than happy to just frontline for the team. Tim still has that impale up. Rocket flare. Bit of vision onto Natsumi, but they're not going to catch anyone yet. Still Xavier's. Have a look back around, see who's in the triangle. Is Polaris group up now? They might try to force the fight. Boom. They've waited around too long, they'll leave, at least for now. But there's your shadow step in. They do get the impale off as well. Lelouch, he's dropped half HP already. He'll try and find a way out now, but FBZ is going to cut the exit route. He's still alive though. On the cliff, Lelouch, he'll make it out just fine. It's FBZ now. Actually not going to blink. Marina's there, Tims, he does jump in. Impel didn't really connect though, and they both end up dropping. He had plenty of time to commit the blink or the swash. I believe that was a bit of a bait, but it does not work in the favor of Boom. Now Lelouch, try for another, does get a nice lasso off onto the Snapfire. Force. Oh, that's a bit of an awkward spear out, but it may not matter. Yopaj, he'll have a BKB though, he'll run. Still a bit of a chase going as Mushi does commit the shadow step once again, and in fact it did matter. He'll turn for the Mortimer's Kisses out onto Force. And it looks like Force, he might have to die for that missed spear, and he does.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Polaris, it's still a good kill. It's not a free kill, though. And I think that's what you need. You want to take favorable trades without any negatives to it. It looked like they did have Yopaj. You know, he popped his regen. A right click was coming through from Lelouch to cancel it off, but they couldn't gap close. And well, Yopaj, you give him an inch, he takes a mile. Manages to blow that open for the side of Boom. 5k lead for Boom standing now, Mike. 23-11. Polaris, they've hit this SNY timing on Natsumi. We need to see what he's going for. He's going for the BKB first, which is fair, protecting himself from the magical burst coming through, but I think it's time to bring out that axe. It's time to turn into the Dark Willow, play with the Shadow Realm, and maybe itemize for the right click here. That feels like the safest way for Polaris to win out these exchanges. Boom, into the Roche Pit, and with a minus armor provided by Yopaj, it will fall fairly fast. The side of Polaris, they don't have any wards to watch this. They're grouping down for bot. Not going to be a good trade for them.
Certainly not. Boom will just freely take it away. Yopaj, in fact, he'll take the Aegis. I mean, he is the more active core right now. Mushi not requiring it on the Spectre. Mushi, he's going back for an Orchid right now on the Spec. Something a little bit new, but I guess against the Morphling, definitely very impactful, especially before he does have that BKB up. Also kind of works with the Snapfire little shredder later on. Can't really forget that. Force. Oh, he's been spotted. FBZ knows. Rocket Flare will give the vision. They get the Shadow Step in. In fact, that was the haunt this time around from Mushi. Just wanted to make sure the team was not behind Force, and they were not. They were well and truly far away.
Yeah. So this time, Boom get the free pickoff. They start applying pressure again on that triangle area. It is fairly well protected, but the D wards have come true. Boom's going to be able to reassert control here. TP's up top. There again, Lelouch.
Yikes, Lelouch has been caught, and he's going to go down to the flame break of Tims. Very, very rough game right now for the side of Polaris. 25-11, 7k net worth advantage. Not quite as bad as game one, that's for sure, but we are approaching that territory. This net worth gap is really starting to get out of control now. You look at Mushi's net worth, he has overtaken Natsumi. Very concerning signs. He's going to start working on toward that Eye of Skadi now, and that's going to make life for Natsumi a lot more difficult, but they do find Mushi. It'll be a nice pick-off if they can get it. Help is incoming, but the Terrorize is going to land still the Scatter Blast. Yapaj, he does land a double stun out. He might find some trades here, or maybe not. Natsumi, he'll try to TP in time with a Hawk Shot. Scam, he'll make it just in the nick of time, but Natsumi, he'll try to waveform away. The chase is on, the great escape. Natsumi, he may not make it. The lift is out. Timsy's got him.
Oh my god.
Oh, they threw everything at poor old Natsumi. He tried so hard, John, but he just couldn't get out.
They at least catch out Mushi on Polaris' end, but boom, come out with a better trade, keeping that Morphlin down and still building up in Yopaj. Mike, we're reaching that level 20 mark. Yopaj level 18, about to hit 19, queuing up that Daedalus, so the damage is gonna skyrocket for our Snap. And Polaris, they've tried to keep Yopaj down. They had the right idea with the Batrider. They need to just jump this Snap first. They need to get the lasso on the Snap and somehow get control, but Yopaj is just very well protected. He doesn't play on the front line unless he knows there's backup for him, and he's just never in a position where he's at risk.
Oh, Lelouch, he's been scouted out. Mushi, a shadow step in. He does have help around. Mushi, he may have gone too far. Force is incoming. Arena still not up, but he'll go the spear out. Lelouch, he does have the lasso. Mushi, he's a bit of a tanky target, but he is completely alone right now. They will be able to secure a very important kill. In the meantime, Mavis is being chased in the Nyx Assassin, but he's going to be just fine. They did whiff the hook shot. Of course, Yapaj, he's going to have to find out the hard way that everyone from Polaris has left that bot lane.
Just a bit too keen there on the shadow step from Mushi. I don't know if you can really go for the Batrider without backup now, mainly because he moves too fast. And Lelouch is still holding on to that bullwhip. He knows move speed is the key for him to survive from these ganks, and he goes up to max move speed when he pops that active. So I think the Spectre has to tone it down a bit, maybe look for softer targets, maybe haunting on the Mars could be a bit easier, or the supports, just to clean up and build up from that way. Could be the way to play. For Boom though, I don't think losing their Spectre actually hurts them much. I think Mushi still with the Ags Orchid is going to have a lot of impact anyhow, and Yopaj, the hero. He is at 19.5 now, Mike. Halfway to that little shudder with damage. That should line up with the Daedalus timing, and I don't know if you survive that one.
Kind of hard to imagine, John. For sure. Kind of sad when a Snapfire might hit harder than, say, the Spectre or the Morphling. That is the state of Dota we're in these days. Damn supports have gotten too damn strong. Boom. Keep controlling that upper end of the jungle. So they still have the Aegis for another 30 seconds, so it might be about time to try and force that top tier 2 tower. Yapaj, he'll go back for it now. It's Polaris, they might be able to time a fight around this Aegis, and they do smoke up.
War has come to Radiant's bottom.
Only has 3 though.
Much like cordwood before accident.
They don't look 100% confident to make their way up the top lane. Are still wrapping though into that triangle, it seems. Maybe just trying to find the Spectre. Mushi has backed off. He's read the movement. Scam is around the area just in case they need the help. Because the only advantage is Polaris. They might find the clock, and they do commit the lasso for this. It's something. In the meantime, Mushi, he wants to try and force a fight. They'll at least find a Dark Willow here, but they're going for a bit more. Force has also been caught on the Mars. They just get there so quick, and Scam brought back. He still has hook shot up, tearing down Mavis on that Nyx Assassin. He is not within range though. Top lane, however, Shadow Step is there onto Lelouch, but he's going to be okay with the BKB TP up.
Still provides a ton of room for Boom. They only lose the clock. Buyback Forest, not the biggest issue for Boom Esports. They can go on to the mid-tier 2 and clear that out, and suddenly the Roshan for Polaris is basically impossible. You don't have the easiest access points. You will have to get a really good smoke play from your high ground into the Roshan. You have to time that perfectly. Boom. They hit that level 20 mark, Mike. Yopaj is going to hit like a truck with a little shredder in. He found those kills without his level 20. So that's going to be an issue. They look 7 gold away. We'll see how much it does work.
Yeah, Tims gets caught out. Another nice little pick off here for Polaris. Yeah, they need everything they can get right now. They'll appreciate the Tims kill. Open up the map a little bit for them as well, knowing that pesky past 4, Rubik is gone. If they intend to get aggressive, but I think while this T1 mid tower is still standing for Boom, I think that is probably your biggest objective right now for Polaris. Just get rid of that tower. It's been too good of a point to TP to here for Boom throughout this whole game, and it's about time you just try and get it down. The FBZ is going to try and be a bit of a nuisance, but they throw everything with the kitchen sink. Just blow him up and ensure that tier 1 is going down.
It's a great kill to find still. I think killing off FBZ, as you said, Mike, you take what you can get, you take the objective, freeing up the map a little bit more here for Polaris. Boom, despite that strong start, you know, their lead hasn't really shifted, Mike. It's been within 5k gold for a long time, and that is a point of concern, because the Morphling, as we approach that late game, once the Scotty's up, once the Satanic's up, and eventually an Ag's coming through, I still think that Morphling's going to be an issue, because again, once you itemize with a Scotty, once your right click's up and running, you just suddenly get that Shadow Realm. You get bonus damage from that. You're in a pretty much an invulnerable state. It's a really big spike for Natsumi. Still, they're going to have to contend with Yopaj's own power spike. Daedalus up, a little Shudder damage up. Once he hits level 25, of course, that gets a bit sillier. But Polaris will smoke out right now and try to force a fight.
Well, I think you needed to try to force it with this DD rune on Natsumi. I mean, it's a lot of damage. Sitting for about 600 per right click. They're going to find Skem. Not quite the target, but they'll also find Tims. He does have an Aeon disc, and the Horde is going to come through. They'll try to force the fight along with them. But can they get it? Natsumi still has that DD and the BKB going. Tims is still in danger, but the Rolling Thunder from FBZ being a real problem here as now they turn. Natsumi, he's been caught with the Terrorize. Gonna allow him to get out as now Yopaj, he is caught with the Spear. It's off the mark again. The snap by though, dropping fast enough. Natsumi, he'll be able to take him down. A good start for Polaris. They will continue to try here, Boom, but Mushi, he can't move fast enough. He'll be speared to a tree. Eventually, I think they'll get through him. He does at least get Xavius and Mavis in the meantime, but it's still not looking great for him, and he does drop. FBZ, though, does pick up force, and is still going to try and chase down Lelouch. Not sure if he really has enough damage here, but it seems like with all the control, maybe he does. He's going to show up. Turn back around. You've got the roll-up, but it's only going to last so long. So the swash away, but the chase is on Natsumi. He wants the kill, and he'll go all the way for this. Swash out, it's going to miss. Waveform forward, though. FBZ, he's not out of the woods yet. Rolling Thunder is now off cooldown, but it won't be necessary. Natsumi, he'll stop wasting his time. This Pango is just refusing to be caught.
And it's a good fight for Polaris. For Boom, it could have been worse. I think finding those counter kills kind of removes some of the momentum Polaris is starting to build up here. But you are having a couple of issues. They need to kind of respond as a team now in Boom's end. They did stagger into that last fight just a bit. There's a late entrance there from Mushi as well. And our Spectre doesn't have anything defensive. No BKBs up. Not the tankiest here in the world with the Orchid and Ags build up as well. So you're going to need something else to balance that out. Manta not too far off though. Machine, that should lead to some more survivability. The good news for Boom, or kind of good news for both teams, is that the Roche is up. So both sides can kind of force the issue there. Ag Shard, Aegis for the taking on both sides, and I think for Boom, if they find that kill from the smoke, they'll certainly be able to clear that Roche fast.
A lot of heroes in that mid lane. Polaris, they'll smoke up themselves, but that may have been spotted. The Rolling Thunder going to go right through and already lands on the Willow, but the Spear Arena is out, but the Aeon Disc Tims, he's fine. Everyone's still alive here on Boom. Natsumi, he's moved in. He'll find Skem first. Onto the Rubik, he'll get him second. Now Mushi, what are we getting up to, sir? He'll haunt back the other way. They're trying to focus down Mavis, and Mavis, he will not drop as Yopaj. He's the one to go down. Natsumi now being a real powerhouse will turn right back onto Mushi. It's not looking great for the Spectre, and they should be able to get this job done. As Mushi, he's still trying to find an exit route. It's not there though. And Polaris, for the first time in this game number 2, are seeming like the stronger team, as they will leave, or rather go into the Roshan pit, and it'll be free. No buybacks.
No buybacks, no opportunities for Boom to play. There is a respawn coming through from Skem soon, but the Roche is not going to last long enough for him to get into angle. Neither is FBZ in position. So, Aegis, Shard, going away with Polaris. Big win for them. Network finally swings their way. You've got Lelouch up in number 2, number 1 for Natsumi in terms of net worth right now. The Ags for Natsumi is pretty much done as well. I believe he did divert for the Ags build-up. Gonna get the shelf as well. So you are gonna hit that point where our Morphling might be able to just kill anyone. The Shadow Realm up, in fact, FPZ.
FPZ, yeah, he's been caught. Nice terrorize there from Xavius. Force should have a very nice, easy spear and does, and that'll be another. Natsumi, 12-5-4 now. Again, they had a very rough start, but Polaris, they've pulled it together. They've got a net worth lead going their way. In fact, it's 4K their way. And uh-oh, there's that timing you talked about, John. The Axe is up. Dark Willow plus Morphling. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun for Polaris. A complete pain for Boom is they're just not doing enough anymore. Oh, no.
Yeah, well, they did find Lelouch, but there was a nice impale out from the Nyx, and now the Arena Spear is there. Yopaj already so low in terms of HP, but they do kill Lelouch off. In fact, the Snapfire has not died yet, and Mavis will end up dropping. They force the team fight without Natsumi around, and that's going to cost them heavily, as they go into the Dark Willow now on Xavius. Should have no escape and doesn't. Very curious kind of play to make here from Polaris. Maybe just getting a bit too excited, and they pay heavily.
And that's some good punishment out from Boom. I think for Polaris now, with this Ag's timing in your morph, you play around him. Don't force the fights outside your Morphling's reach. Play with the Morphling, have him join up, have him go into the Shadow Realm, and just right-click like a maniac. Because there's no counterplay. Maybe you can hookshot him and just kind of isolate him for a bit. Otherwise, you can't really get all your best control. I suppose the cookie can land as well. Very difficult to just pinpoint that Shadow Realm down, though. I think that's where Polaris will shine. Very even game, despite that slower start for Polaris here, Mike. 36-25, less than 1k lead coming out from Polaris, and they will smoke up. They don't have the Dark Willow, so there's no Shadow Realm for Natsumi to play with, but he might still find a couple of good uses for that Ags.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Plenty of decent options here. See those, they are smoked as 3. This is another dangerous team fight to try and force for Polaris. Even with the Aegis up, FBZ is going to break the smoke on the Morph. Rest of the team is slowly making their way over. Poor Polaris, but in the end, they are not going to try and force the fight. They'll back off into that jungle. Just meet up as 5, and I think that's just the thing. You just talked about it, but there's no need to force a fight if you're not 5 heroes. Putting yourself at a forced disadvantage, which is just very unnecessary here for Polaris. It's Boom Esports. They are grouped up as well. Harsh does get spotted in the mid lane, but they weren't close enough to make the jump in for the lasso. Instead, down to the bot tier 2 tower they go. Should be very easy pickings here for Natsumi. No defense out. I think for Boom, they understand they can't really find the Aegis right now. It's just too risky. They'll just have to wait it out to expire.
Yep. Just gonna have to be a bit patient here on the side of Boom. Aegis still up for a minute and a half, so there's still a pretty big window for Polaris to get what they want. They will smoke after capturing the outpost. 1 TP in top to clear out Lelouch, but the rest in position. Oh boy.
Yeah, Natsumi, he's been a bit preemptive. It's about to expire. Scan is out as well, so a very nice scam there from Boom to give the knowledge over, and Scam, he's just going to come in and take a D ward, force the fight early on. He might die for this, but he'll be okay. Just tank the gank, essentially.
Oh,
as you saw the Shadow Realm there from Natsumi.
God, that is just painful. When it's up, Natsumi's just going to be nearly unstoppable. You think Snapfire is silly, this is even worse. In fact, Natsumi wanted to be a bit cheeky, I guess you could turn Snap, but yeah, you don't really benefit from talent, so Dark Bull is still your best bet. Boom. And it feels like you're stalling out for Mushi now, right? Like, you want your Spectre to actually build up now. The damage output of Yopaj has kind of taken the turn for the worse. He is trying to go for the Silver Edge to amp up even more damage, but until then, the Daedalus just hasn't done enough work. His crit damage is like 500. And it's just not overwhelming enough to burst down these durable cores Polaris has up front. The Mars has a lot of HP now. The Morphling can shift around. The Batrider is very maneuverable and very tanky as well. Compounded by the fact that Natsumi now has the full state Panic Up as well. It's even more strength for the Morphling. He just heals back to full every time he goes into the Shadow Realm and fights.
Another kill onto Skem. Nice lasso there from Lelouch. Skem again just frontlining, scouting out any kind of ganks that are coming towards Boom. He does get picked off very easily once the lasso was there. And going back to the point you made, John, the Satanic being available for Natsumi now kind of negates the fact that you don't have the Aegis anymore. Especially prior to that next team fight that is going to be over the third Roshan. I love this. You gotta love Morphling, don't you? The Shadow Realm combo is just ridiculous. We haven't seen it being used yet against a hero, but I can't wait, John. It's always a bit of fun with Morph.
Yeah, I don't know why we never saw that in Southeast Asia as much as the Spirit Breaker or the Wind Ranger, but this is hilarious. You know? It's just, why? Why does this work? Why?
We don't even get to see the bonus range yet. We haven't actually got to experience how long Natsumi can hit people from yet. Hopefully a team fight will break out and we'll find out soon. Polaris, they still hold a 4K net worth advantage. Dota Plus is actually kind of in the middle, but is 63% the die away. So they are giving the advantage over to Polaris. Good news if you are a fan. If they find your Page here, it'll be even better. Does try to blink away, but Lelouch, he's immediately on top of it. Does get the lasso. Nice quick reactions from our Bat Rider. That'll be your boy Japoya going down. Not great news for Boom.
No. Big kill, no buyback on Yopaj as well. So that's a massive opportunity for Polaris. They can start to pressure the last tier 2 tower from Boom and maybe even look high ground. Without the snap, a lot of Boom's damage is just gone.
Natsumi's coming in. Fight, he's got the Willow right next to him if he gets to this outpost fast enough, and here we go. They'll make the jump in. Natsumi not morphing yet. He'll just go with the BKB. Mushi's left the building already. Now the morph comes in. FBZ, he'll get out of range. The fight, unfortunately, is already over. Xavius, he goes down, and everyone else just runs out of there. Not sticking around for the Morphling.
Yeah, it's a massive issue, that Morphling. You don't really have the best ways to pin down Natsumi right now. He's just highly maneuverable, has a lot of damage. He's going for the Daedalus next, and oh, that Daedalus timing, Mike, that's when this gets really dumb. With the range, with the Bosun's damage, and the invulnerability state you're in. Yeah, Natsumi's going to be having a really fun game once that's up. Boom. They have a bit of a spike coming back here, Mike, when Yopaj hits 25. The low shutter multi-shot might be nice enough. Like, my issue is that the damage from Yopaj just doesn't feel great. Like, he's trying to hit the Silver Edge. He'll have another crit on hand. His base damage just isn't high enough to make the Daedalus feel amazing. I think they're gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to find a way to make it a lot higher. Still, Boom, gonna smoke up his tree. They've got the Shadow Step ready on Mushi if they do find a good target, but no one's playing in the bot triangle, and there's no forward wards here for Boom this time around. All the wards being defensive. Not much info to play with to find these kills.
Certainly not. Speaking of Mushi, John, I know Mushi's a support player right now. He's got the Witch's Bane on himself. You know, he's not relying on his teammates to get the Dispel off. He'll do it himself on the carry Spectre. Very nice against the Bat Rider, of course, and the Dark Willow, as they will roll the Thunder in. Hookshot out. They've got Force trapped up. Terrorize is gonna fly in, but doesn't connect on anyone as Mushi. He'll go for the fight onto the Mars, and the Cogs will be the thing that kills him off, but they both buy back. FBZ, he's on the run. Tims will drop to Lelouch. Meanwhile, Yopaj will jump back in, but they have the lasso, and now Natsumi. The amount of damage he does cannot be underestimated. Towards the other side, Mushi's also been caught out. He's in the arena with the spear out from Force. They just need the damage, and the damage is on its way as Natsumi is back into the fight. Mushi, he will not last for long. A triple kill out for Natsumi now, as they might find more. Tibbs, he just fought into the team fight. He might be going right back to the graveyard, but Mushi, he'll buy back again. Back in onto Force. Can they find the Mars and get the dieback? Not quite yet, but there's the hook shot. There's your dieback off the Natsumi now. The spear does land. They've got the Morphling without mana. Natsumi, he may have gone too far. Yeah, he's going to drop a triple kill back the way of Mushi as Mavis He'll try to dig his head under the sand, but it's not going to work out for him. An ultra kill now out for the Spectre. A very prolonged team fight, but it does go in the favor of Boom Esports.
Boom manages to make it work. They did have to commit a lot of buybacks to make it work. And
oh, he wants a rampage, John. He wants a rampage. Mushi feeling hungry as Lelouch. He's forced to commit the lasso, and now the buybacks. He may have gone too far. He needs some help ASAP, but the help's not around.
God.
Oh, he gets baited by his own rampage, and FPZ's here as well. He'll go for a TP. He'll be fine. Oh, but that was a dieback on Mushi.
That fight looked really good for Boom. The dieback sets it back. Polaris now, they're going to be counting their lucky stars. Roshan is going to be up in 20 seconds. No haunt to worry about. No way for the Spectre to sneak into that fight. They've got double damage rune as well for a bit longer here. And that could line up. You know, you could just run in with your Morphling, get the hits off. Roshan, not going to be too long to kill off. And Boom have to be careful, although...
Yeah, that hook shot Skem might be able to pick off one. There is help around though, so they can trade right back onto Skem. Still trying Natsumi. Don't forget, he just fought back, so he has to be very careful. But he's just so strong right now that he's not too concerned about the damage Boom can do. As now everybody just gets the hell out. Skem is somehow still alive on this clockwork. They do dust him up. Flame Break is there. Sabius trying to jump in, but they can't kill him. Skem's out.
Oh man, this is really on the edge for Polaris and Boom. If Boom lost any more heroes, that might have been the end, especially as you could just take Roshan going to the high ground as well. Polaris, they also are at a bit of a risk. If Natsumi runs out of mana mid-fight, he suddenly loses out on a lot of his durability. He's not going to be able to leverage his mobility as well. So fortunate for Natsumi to also not get caught out. Boom, they read that situation, they smoke. Roshan is up, not being taken though, but Polaris, they might get caught here.
Yeah, pings on Xavius. Hookshot there, they're not playing any games. That'll be a dieback on the Dark Willow. Roshan, like you mentioned, John, is now available. It's perfect timing for Boom if they scout it out. They do kind of have to force it, considering how this game's been going. I mean, obviously you have to wait for Mushi to respawn. He's 5 seconds away. Always just TP up to the outpost and go after that Roche. Polaris, I wonder if they'll try to contest.
Without the Dark Willow combination, Natsumi doesn't have as much damage as you'd expect. So I think that's the worrying aspect here for Polaris. Like, they can't actually commit with a morph without the Dark Willow form right now. That's where all their power is coming from. They're going to have to surrender this Roche. It is Aegis, Cheese, and an Axe. So you can kind of free up an item slot here if you want, and Yopaj is going to have that gobble up now. So there's some save potential now on her snap. And also some long-range initiation coming through as well for Boom. So strong pickup for Boom. This could be something that allows them to take more fights in a cleaner fashion, not fully relying on just a hook shot. Having gobble up play to toss a core up front and get some good control, good stunts off to set the tone might be enough for Boom to find openings in these next few fights. Polaris, high ground still holds. No threat yet from Boom. This is long enough that the Dark Willow is going to be back up, so the Morphling form is going to be ready. Natsumi, still 4 minutes away from buyback. Did buy out the Ag's Blessing as well. So the Ag's not sitting on an item slot, freeing up space for the Daedalus. Still ways off from the Daedalus, but the Crystallis alone with the Dark Willow form could be really burst down people.
Certainly could be. 3 seconds for that. Meantime, Mushi just farming up his buyback gold. Of course, it is still on a timer anyway. 3.5 minutes till he does have that buyback, but kind of a similar story for Natsumi. So you'd rather just have the gold in the bank account ready to go. Meanwhile, Polaris, a big 5-man smoke, but Skem, great positioning here, does break the smoke, and now the Haunt in. They might force the fight. They're onto Lelouch. They've got the Batrider already. Natsumi, he'll frontline and try to help out. Mavis, he's already gone on the Nyx Assassin. Force, a great arena. He's got 3 targets. He's got Yopaj. He's got the refresh. He might be able to just permanent lock him down on the Snapfire, but Yopaj is still not down. He eats the cheese. He'll survive another day, and they might be able to keep going. They're onto Natsumi now. He's out of mana. He's out of HP, and he's going down.
Oh my god.
There is no buyback on Natsumi as Force will drop to boot. Fall down without buyback. Oh, Yopaj. How does he survive, John. How does he do it every time? It's sickening.
I don't understand. Force had refresh. He refreshed right in front of Yopaj. He didn't drop the secondary arena. He didn't get the damage off on the snap, and Yopaj pops a BKB, gets the cheese, gets the gobble up play to find more kills. Polaris has no play. No buybacks. Batrider defending, and this is not... He understands this. The rest of the team still playing tag with the Rax, but Mushi looking for the tier 4s, looking for the call. But
drag him into the fountain. Just drag him right into the fountain. That's all you can do. But Mushi, he'll try to BKB. He will not make it. That won't be enough, but he has another one. He has another one. Lelouch's got a plan, a master plan, in fact, but it's not enough. Props to Lelouch for trying. He may have successfully defended this Ancient, as I'm not sure they can finish this game. Yopaj, he's gone. Lelouch has successfully defended the Ancient. Tims will give the tip over. I can't believe it. I mean, 4 heroes down without buyback, and 1 Batrider with a refresher orb gets the Ancient defended like that. Unbelievable.
Man, that's insanity. Yopaj, he just from the flame break. He had 5 stacks of napalm and just died. Polaris, they're still in a very awkward position, but it's not actually that bad. They only lost the range racks. It's the mid about as much as you'd expect it to here for Boom. They still have spikes to play around. They could wait out the next Roshan. Boom now in an awkward spot. They're gonna have to respawn up on Mushi soon. The Morphling's gonna be back online though, and the buyback's starting to get off cooldown now for the Morph. He just needs gold on Natsumi to build up, and by that point the game kind of equalizes. So Boom have to be a bit careful in the next high ground defense. They know the refresh is up on Force. They know the refresh is there as well on Lelouch. They need to be really cautious, as all that single target control going through BKBs kind of dictates how the game goes at the late game, right? Like if you can pierce through spell immunity, you almost always win the team fights.
And you've got Natsumi with the DD rune, John. At the moment, he's hitting for 700 per right click without crits or the Shadow Roll. Keep that in mind. 700 per right click. So I think Boom will need to wait this one out. Definitely a very scary time here against the Morphling. Looks like Virus though, they won't feel confident. They're going for a smoke. Boom. Maybe they haven't noticed yet who have they gone on. They found Lelouch in the background. They want revenge, and they will get it. He is down. In fact, Scam, he found another. He's got Mavis on the Nyx Assassin. Mavis, he's trying to just dig into the ground, but he can't get there. He's down without buyback. At least for another 30 seconds.
Yeah. Not the largest window there for Boom, but that does relieve some pressure of Polaris potentially forcing a fight out. I think the key thing now for Boom is maybe cleaning up that melee racks if they feel like they can commit. Forcing out the buyback on the Lelouch could be really nice as well. So if you kill him one more time, that could seal the deal for the side of Boom. Of course, Polaris still hanging on. I think a while ago we saw Xavius kind of far away from Natsumi. They need to stick together like a pair. You know, they need to be joined at the hip. Always have the Morph ready to go into the Dark Willow at Shadow Realm. They will try to force a rack. I don't know if this is enough for the buyback, but they will find a racks at the least.
Might find 2, but the tier 2 bottom tower is still standing, so the most they can get is 2 Raxes. Definitely better than nothing though. It'll help keep the lanes pushed out and set up for that 4th Roshan.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Not enough, John. Not enough yet. We'll back off now. Of course, Yopaj, it's always fun to watch him just little shreddering everything on the map, but it's the stage we are at now as well with him. Just anyone's game. What's Dota Plus thinking? Dota Plus 77% the way of Boom Esports now. It's been a bit of a rocky ride here on this graph. A very entertaining game to say the least. Yeah. And John, we're 7 minutes away from tier 5 items, sir.
Ooh, delicious. Yeah, that's gonna be where the spice is at. Again, I am always an advocate for Giant's Ring. Giant's Ring Spectre sounds pretty hilarious. Giant's Ring Mars, Giant's Ring Batrider is pretty fun as well. I think, what else is pretty good here? You could try Pirate Hat in the Morphling. I think you could hit your attack speed cap already though. Force Boots might be good to free up even more item slots on Natsumi. So after the Daedalus, you could opt for a Butterfly. and suddenly the damage coming through from Boom doesn't even touch Natsumi because of the evasion. That could be one route as well. But of course, it's all RNG. These aren't things you can just will into existence, not like the DDs. We'll see if they'll manage to find ones they want, or if we'll even reach that point. The game is on such a tight balance right now. It feels like we're one team fight away for either side to just find that win.
Be very tense here in this game. Number 2, 9k net worth advantage, but it just means nothing. We're 54 minutes in. Who the hell cares about 9k? Mid lane FBZ almost forced to use that Rolling Thunder to escape, but he'll be okay. Gem having a look around for a hookshot opportunity for his team. You've always got that global presence with Mushi, and of course your punch with the BOTs up. Polaris, being very, very patient themselves. Continuously holding that dire high ground on that triangle. That bot lane pushed out. Mushi's gotten to the point where he has a full Bloodthorn up now in the Spectre. And we are also at the point, John, where everybody on the map has buyback. Literally everyone.
Yeah, it's that breaking point. There's a bit more relief for both sides in terms of taking the next fight, so it's going to be down to who manages to force the buybacks first and who manages to find the diebacks. That's what's going to open up the game a little bit more. They could just wait out the next Roshan 20 seconds away for Rosh number 4. And that's going to have the full complement of Roshan goodies. Refresh, Ags, Cheese, Aegis. And that could help
Scam.
the team
this,
wins
John.
out, but... Ooh.
Look at this pathing, John. Top lane. Follow the leader, they say, is FBZ. No lasso yet. He had the low stop, and now the hookshot. Scam going to try and make sure that his Pango is going to remain safe. FBZ coming back in, but Scam, he is definitely dead. Polaris, they're not able to find the kill they really wanted, but find a clockwork. It's better than nothing. Keep in mind, Roshan is up, so you might be able to force buyback out from Scam.
Yeah, you're going to need to fight in that Rosh. You don't want to give away all the goodies on Roshan at this moment. The refresh, Cheese, Aegis, the Ags Blessing. It's a lot to play with, and of course the Aegis just ensures that the high ground's open there. Still intact.
Trying to go in. Oh, yeah, punch. Look at the damage. Look at that damage with a little shred around. Just takes down one. He's got another 2. Forces on. Now Tim's right onto Xavius. They'll go. Mortimer's kisses are going to be expended. Buybacks are there, though. They might try to force this fight here. Polaris. Lelouch. 4 seconds away from the lasso being up, but man, that little shredder. You've got to be careful. Xavius about to drop, but Tim's now the one in danger. Aeon Disc already proc. Meanwhile, towards the north, they've got Xavius on that Nyx, and they might just have him. He'll drop. That'll be a tieback. Natsumi, though, he'll move back in onto Mushi, but FBZ, he does have that Rolling Thunder. He'll chase down the Morph. Even the Gobble Up, it doesn't connect, but the chase is on. In the backside, they've got the lasso onto Tim's, but there's no help. Lelouch, he needs to find his own way out now. Natsumi's still caught out. He'll drop. He's got buyback, but he might need to commit it right now. I don't know how you defend if you don't have the bodies.
Watch cookies.
Xavius will go down. Boom, they aren't going to go high ground anyway, it seems. They might go for the Roshan first. That is the 4th Rosh of the game, John.
There are 2 gems just sitting around here. There's still a gem here that Boom's just completely ignoring as well. So they're going to take that Rosh, get the Ags upgrade up, get the Cheese refresh, and now they're going to have the protection to their high ground. However, there is a bit of an item spike here for Polaris. The lasso with the Ags, 2 people being lassoed up. That's going to make the fights a bit more complicated for Boom. Again, they will secure the Roshan goodies now as they hold on to the Ags with FBZ. Having that shield crash with the swash could also help keep the stuns out. I think FBZ's swashbuckled stuns have been enabling Boom to find those openings.
Now they'll give it to Tim's. I think Tim's is probably more valuable with the spell still on 2 seconds. I mean, you've seen these team fights, John. They're just so chaotic. There's like a billion lassos happening, and keep in mind the Axe is up for Lelouch as well, so he's got the double lasso on top of the double lasso. Be very detrimental here for Boom ESPORTS. Minute and a half for those tier 5 items, by the way, and there is still a tier 2 tower standing. I think for once we might be able to see some.
Yeah, it's probably gonna come out. So both sides have decent enough map control. I think it's gonna be easier for Boom, of course, with 2 lanes shoving in. They should look to finish up their tier 5 items first. They start to take control in that bot triangle as well. Probably gonna line up for that tier 2 tower push soon. Full Abyssal done here on FBZ. Again, relying on those bashes to deal with the spell immunity to keep that Morphling locked in. Even the overwhelming blink not too far off now for FBZ. So we'll see how much of an impact that blink will have once it's up. But you can already see Boom on the aggressive. Going for the tier 2. No creep wave yet. Backdoor still kicks in. Half a minute away, Mike. Goodness. I wonder how much more silly this game can get.
It's not silly. It's a very tense game here, Jonathan. Those tier 5 items, they make it even more exciting because even with this net worth deficit Polaris do have right now, they...
Mike.
Look at the Yopaj.
Yep.
He's got a double Daedalus up. I mean, why not just go for a Divine, Yopaj? Why are we wasting time with 2 Daedaluses? Just go straight for a Divine.
Just go for that one-hit kill opportunity. They're gonna play it safe though, but they will smoke. Looking to be on the aggressive. It's 60 minutes. Just farm the tier 5s.
They never want them. They never want them, John. These pro players. They never want to have any fun. No, they're leaving him. They don't want to break the smoke. Fair enough. They're gonna move in, but Lelouch is gonna spawn out Scam, but he does not see Yopaj. It won't matter though. He blinks out. Mirror Shield has been found, so Mushi will take that. We'll see who he gives it over to. Very, very nice item. Jumped in, they just though. Lasso is out. They've got Scam on the clockwork, but the Rolling Thunder is there. FBZ caught absolutely nobody. Mushi's still fine. They've got Mavis down. That'll be him without buyback. Now they can go for more. Scam, Lasso, Lelouch, who are we going after? He's got no target. He's trying to retreat for now. Paj, meanwhile, still trying to fight back. He might drop though, and he does, but he'll buy back immediately. Rolling Thunder again, FBZ on the spot, has caught out Force, and now it's got Natsumi. They'll try for the man fight, looking for back to Tim's, but Natsumi's surrounded. He's gonna try and just do the best he can right now. In fact, he's 1v4ing them. He might be able to get them, but no, the damage is too much, but he does have buyback on that Morphling. They still have a chance to try and counter, reinitiate, and force the game to continue, but the Megas are what's on Boom's mind. Lelouch will jump in, but he has no lasso. FBZ is going to drop. The damage output from Natsumi still too high, but he's going to buy back. Only 3 buybacks left on the map. And Mega Creeps, they are not up, John. They are not up. Even in a 5v3, I think Boom are feeling very nervous about it. Initiating, in fact, never mind Tibbs. He's in. He found the Dark Willow. Mushi, he'll join in as well. Xavius is still fine though. Lelouch, no. He breaks the linkers with the lasso. He needed that lasso to make the comeback happen. Back. They've lost Xavius. He'll commit a buyback. They'll jump in again, but the immediate Abyssal Blade. Natsumi's still trying, but he is just surrounded again. He'll pop the Satanic now. Back on Yopaj. He's got the Snapfire. That'll be a dieback. Maybe they can defend this. Or maybe they can't. Luchstein's back as well. It's all up to Natsumi. Mushi, well, he'll try. Tims is down though on the Morphling, or rather the Rubik, as the Morph is just bursting everyone down with the amount of damage they have. Hawkshot in. Maybe they can actually get through him now. Maybe. Natsumi, they're trying. They've got the stun out. They should have enough, and they've got it. That's it. GG has to be called now. And they've called that they've had enough Polaris. They put up a great fight, but Boom Esports take the comeback work. And what a game 2 of this grand final it was, John. What a game 2 it was.
I'm speechless. That was an insane game. Polaris, Boom, pulling all the stops out. You know, we
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Let's get flashlight!
Radiant's bottom barracks are under
Decent there. Monster kill!
Will not stop us.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Rock on!
Five went into battle.
Dire are scanning.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure what to say. I think they managed to hit their spikes quite well. Maybe the Batrider went off to a slower start than we expected, because we have seen Batrider beat Snapfire mid in BTS Pro Series 3 and 4. That was the counter lane pick. And I think for Polaris, they managed to hit their late game spikes. Natsumi held on. They got the Ags timing, managed to run from there. It maybe went down to small mistakes. If they managed to kill Yopaj before he popped the cheese, that could have made the change. If they managed to kill Yopaj earlier as well when they were jumping in, chasing him down through the lower jungle, through the river. You know, small situations like that where a kill slips by, I think that might have been able to give Polaris an edge. So there's nothing major. I think Polaris has cleaned up from game one. They managed to hold out well. It's just down to the fact that Boom is such a tough opponent. Polaris, they are playing their hearts out. So it's such a close series. Despite it's 2-0 right now for Boom. They're one step away from winning their second Pro Series in a row, Mike. Right? And they're in the lower div. Polaris, they're in the grand finals. They have to qualify for the CDPC. I think both sides are very hungry for those wins in such a close match, despite the score showing 2-0.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, the Polaris will get to have fun with the snap this time around. We'll see if the Nyx Assassin will slide through as a support option for Boom, sliding that Pangolier onto the offlane. But for Polaris now, with the Snapfire on hand, with a Magnus, we just saw Force perform spectacularly with his Magnus in the last series against Motivate Trust. So strong comfort picks for Polaris. Snapfire, again, we haven't seen Lelouch really play it on mid. We've seen him play against it. I think it's still likely this is just the Savior's hero now. Snapfire Magnus as a dual lane on the off is pretty strong. Good minus armor. You can cookie for stun, skewer back if someone's too close to the tier 1, and play that way. I think Polaris are kind of secure there. Boom! Into the Ember. And that's an interesting one, because we've seen Ember lose so many times to Snap, and it was Yopaj killing off those Embers. So this time they picked the Ember, expecting Snapfire support. This might make Polaris think twice about that. You know, maybe shift Snap to core just because they see the matchup as favorable. They're not showing that yet. They take the Monkey King as well. A lot of flexibility in either running that for Natsumi or for Savius again on the pause 4 and shifting that Snapfire to the mid. So it's fairly open for Polaris, but Boom, you can see the confidence. Just into Ember, they likely know that the Snapfire is not mid. Even if it is a Snap mid, maybe Yopaj doesn't care. Maybe he knows how to play against it, as we've seen Lelouch himself do when he had to deal with that Snapfire lane.
Radiant team ban.
Ranger at your service.
Ooh. I like it. I think this is likely a Tim's Wind Ranger though. So that's the pause 4 Wind Ranger, pause 5 Bane for Scam, Pangolier by FBZ once more, and Yopaj keeping that Ember mid. I'm trying to think if they can flex that. You could maybe give Mushian safely an Ember. I don't see any reason to run the mid Wind Ranger here for Yopaj outside of the fact that he likes Wind Ranger. So I'm not sure if that's a good enough reason for Boom that they are 2 games up. This could be one of those games where they could experiment. I don't think so. I think these guys are hungry. They're the hungry beasts after all, and they want to prove a point. So we'll see. Going back to your point about Polaris' draft, Mike, on mid, Lelouch Kunkka might make its appearance, right? It hasn't been banned. It's Lelouch, it's Armel, and it's Mamangdai who really excel on that Kunkka mid. I think these are definitively the top 3 Kunkka players in Southeast Asian pro teams. So I think Lelouch is up there. Something we've seen him perform on from Omega, from Adroit. And I think that could tie in really nicely for Polaris. They have RP Torrent, RP Boat, Kiss is coming through, durability for Magnus and Monkey King and the Kunkka on the run buff. These are really tanky heroes to kind of burst down. You don't have the best burst on Boom, and you get some good control for the Ember as well. So I think the Kunkka could fit in for Polaris if they want to kind of put that up. But the Leshrac does provide them better push. So I think if they're looking to play faster, Leshrac is the safer way to go. If they want to take more team fights, the Kunkka is the best bet here in tying up with that.
Dire team bad. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
There's a possibility for Lelouch to play mid-mag. Mac has played that a couple of times as well, although that's been a while. We haven't seen mid-Magnus really shine in a long time. The matchup against Ember, not the easiest for Magnus, I think, so you might want to avoid it. Snapfire for Lelouch, he could try it. He knows how the Ember's supposed to play. I think if Yopaj gets the Snapfire matchup, he will go for the same build-up as we've seen Lelouch go for, which is a 2-3-0 build, ignoring the Flame Guard, overwhelming the Snapfire with the chains and sleight of fist, and that kind of gives you some lane management there. So I think Yopaj is ready in case the Snapfire does end up being his matchup, but we'll have to see. Polaris thinking hard about that last pick. They've got a lot of reserve time here, so they can kind of take it slow, but I don't think they have too much room for greed here, Mike. If you are running Grimstroke plus Monkey or Grimstroke plus Snap as supports, these are really greedy supports. Your course of either Mag or Snap plus Monkey King is also greedy, and they go with a Void Spirit instead. So they will run the support Snap for Xavius. And that should be the Snapfire Grimstroke support duo. Magnus offlane with Snapfire. Void Spirit versus Ember Spirit matchup we have seen a couple of times. I will give the edge towards Ember Spirit simply because your itemization favors early aggression. For Void Spirit, you know, you get double null. It's not quite enough. For an Ember, Orb of Corrosion's basically an Orb of Corrosion plus a Javelin or Orb of Corrosion plus Phase Boots. That's enough for you to just start running down.
Choose your hero.
I said last time when Polaris picked up the Magnus, you should not give that to Force. Heck, you should not give it to Polaris at all, because it's a hero they play around with. I think this time around, they might be tunneled into the Magnus pick a bit too much. Like, they do heavily rely on just empowering Monkey, getting a good RP skewer back with Force and playing with the Wukongs. But as you pointed out, Mike, the Razor counteracts all of that physical output. So I would say Boom might have the better draft, simply because they come online faster as well. It's a timing issue. Razor comes online a lot faster than Monkey King and Magnus does, and has superior damage output, great durability. For late game scaling, there is still the refresh Ags play for Razor, and that still makes him relevant, especially if he does have some armor source as well. And Yopaj can also be your win condition. We've seen him deliver many times for Boom when they're behind. Once his Ember hits the Ags timing, it just turns around for Boom. So I will say I favor Boom's draft a bit more because it's faster, but Polaris have maybe a more stable late game scaling, but they do still have to reach that point like we saw in game 2. Yes. Yes, it will. Back to back.
Back to back
as well, Mike.
Well. Back-to-back champions, if it happened. Polaris, I mean, that fight they put up last game makes me feel a lot more confident in this team now, and I'm just looking very forward to seeing how this game number 3 does pan out. Of course, I thought about it during the break as well, John. We made the DPC announcement, but that was very fun.
Yeah.
Kind of felt sad, considering Boom is lower division. So they weren't in the announcement, and yeah, that was a bit upsetting. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, considering the performance they just put up in these first 2 games, a little bit sad, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah, that's what Boom faced from their last season in DPC. They've kind of got to deal with consequences of how the roster performed last time. At the very least, you know, looking at them now, you can tell they are probably going to eat up the competition. If not, all the teams in lowers will have to keep their eyes open for Boom. They've got their targets behind their back, and I think every team's going to be watching and studying Boom carefully going into the DPC, because likelihood is, Mike, Boom is going to be gatekeeping that upper div slot.
Oh, naturally. I mean, kind of. There are a couple teams that maybe could take it. I say maybe. It's a pretty big maybe. We'll see. That's for next season. I mean, that's like 2 weeks away anyway. Force, Xavier's going to show up. Tim's hasn't got anything skilled up yet. Won't bother either. Just hold out. Bot lane, FBZ, he was getting chased a little bit, but no big deal. 2 for 2 trade on the bounties. We are going to start down that bot lane, of course, where you will see FBZ and Tim's running over on the Wind Ranger, be against Mavis and Natsumi. So it's a safe lane Void Spirit here, John. They do opt to throw the Monkey King into the mid lane against Yopaj. I suppose the Monkey King is still the real carry, though, in all this. Natsumi maybe just taking the space creating role for the team. Do you agree with this lane switch up? Switch up with these roles?
Not fully. I think the Monkey King has a bit of a better time against the Pango. You can just leverage your range. The Pangolierian is always going to be a bit painful, but once you hit level 3, you're kind of good, especially once you have the Jingu Mastery up. So it's a little bit for the Void Spirit, I mean for the Monkey King to deal with the Ember though, but I don't think you benefit too much. We'll have to see how much Natsumi really gets from the lane. FBZ already looking good, applying some good harassment. There is some forward movement you can get, like you can play with 8th Remnant and the Inkswell, or dissimulate with Inkswell and kind of run from there, but until that point with level 2, level 3, it's going to be a bit more static here.
Okay. Over in the mid lane, of course, you do have Lelouch now on that Monkey King against Yopaj, and I suppose this is the thing, right? Like, they really want to make sure Yopaj does not have a good game, because when he does, he will just set a tempo, a pace that you cannot keep up with throughout the game. And so maybe just having the Monkey against the Ember just guarantees you that good laning phase, and maybe allows you to just shut down this man.
Yeah, I do like that Yopaj actually goes for the fast boots of speed. He knows that Lelouch just wants to run him down, try to build up the Jingu. With the added move speed, Orb Corrosion's not going to be cutting off Yopaj too much. Still, a bit of a tough lane. You can see Lelouch, again, leveraging that Boundless with the Jingu up to just heal up, hold the lane, get some good harassment up. Yopaj gonna have to wait for, I'd say, level 5 is when it feels better for Ember, not even a level 3 spike. That's when you maybe have more points in your Flame Guard to just deal some damage back and have a value point in Searing Chains.
Absolutely, and I guess with the levels in Flame Guard as well, you're going to be able to just farm the side camps a lot faster. That's something Yopaj is going to have to do this game to be able to keep up with the Monkey. And well, as you can see, it's 3-10 in terms of CS right now, favoring Lelouch. So definitely a very favorable time thus far. But we'll have a look at the last side lane. Up at top lane, you've got Mushi on the Razor against Force on the Magnus. Supporting both of those guys is Xavius and Skem on the Bane and Snapfire respectively. To get some early harassment in. Skem, he should be just fine though. not really easy to harass out of Bane. Bane known as one of the kings of the POS 5 role in terms of just harassment and trading damage, and as you can see, Skem, he does come out on top.
Just having a good time zoning out Xavius. Xavius not able to get off that pull that he loves to do to kind of get his levels up, but he's already at level 2. Still, not the easiest time for Force. You have to watch once Nightmare is up for Skem. He can just Nightmare Force, allow Mushi to walk up with a static link, and just chase down the potential skewer. Heck, you might not even want to skewer Mushi at all, because if he's got the static link up and you skewer him back, you're probably dead.
The bot lane seems to be the most aggressive lane between these two teams. Constantly seeing FBZ and Natsumi dropping very low in terms of HP. I assume the Razor lane would be the most aggressive, but that has not been the case as of yet. And mostly FBZ and Natsumi just going at it. So as the levels go up, it is get a little bit scarier for both sides. Watch out for that shackle from Tims as well. Because he doesn't have any levels in the power shot though, so you don't have that nice burst damage to follow up on the shackle. Natsumi. Perfectly fine, but now the silence is going to come out with the swell, and they are going to catch FBZ, but the shackles is out from Tims, and that'll stop the chase out for FBZ. Couldn't get that resonant pulse off to connect onto the Pango for that bonus damage. But as you can see, very, very aggressive down to the spot lane.
They're just keeping pressure. I think it's down to the nature of a Void Spirit. You do have really great laning spells that you want to keep using to apply some pressure. And that just means not he's less farm focused. He is still up there in CS though. 21-1. FBZ not too far behind at 19-3. That is good news, although Natsumi's gonna have to be a bit cautious. Almost running out of HP and mana here.
It's getting very low. FBZ, he did have 9 stick charges if he wanted the mana to get the swash off, but obviously probably just assumed he wouldn't be able to get the kill anyway. Happy that he can force out Natsumi a little bit. Gem, he's gonna rotate from the top lane. Search out the bounty rune. Page also going to rotate around the mid lane now on the Ember. They're up to here. Lelouch going to find Skem. He'll get Nightmared up. In the meantime, your Page, is he just going to creep skip? He'll pull the wave over. Problem is, Lelouch is not going to allow this to happen for free. Tims will rotate over with the shackles out to buy a bit more time to pull the wave, but Boundless, no, it's off the mark. Just barely short. Mavis now even showing up in the mid lane to make sure he does not get this wave for free. Now Tims, he's in danger. Inkswell Cookie, all of it's going to land, and that'll be Tims to drop. And the creep wave, it's going right back into that mid lane. Yapashi only really got a range creep, and now they jump in even further. Past the tier 1 tower, they will not be able to get the Ember, but they are sure as hell focusing and making sure he's not doing whatever he wants.
Yopaj is so far behind, still level 4. Monkey King already at that level 6 mark with a 2-1-2 build, pocketing that last skill point. And that's tough for Yopaj. And he's going to need to play catch up. He hasn't hit his 5 spike with the Flame Guard, so just finding farms is a slow process for the Ember right now.
Tim's even just kind of hanging out now on the Wind Ranger. The second bit of XP trying to help out. Lelouch already level 6 in comparison to the level 4 of Yopaj, so a big win here for Polaris. See how Yopaj does try to come back into this game with this kind of deficit in terms of XP. Now Skem has a double damage, he'll show up. Bit of D-Ward's going on. Can't really do too much though, Lelouch still too strong, or maybe not, they'll go for a Nightmare. Shackles is out and it does connect on the siege creep, but again, they're lacking a lot of damage. Just trying to buy the space for Yopaj to hit some creeps though.
Yeah, just get this Ember going, relieve some of that pressure. The sidelines are holding fine solo, and Mushi, he's clipped up. He's trying to go for a play of Force. Doesn't find a kill, does have the TP, so at the least Force does save himself. But the sidelines, I think, are still able though.
Yeah, Natsumi, he's one creep off that level 6 mark. Skem's here as well. He'll go for the courier first. Natsumi, he's trying desperately and finally gets a creep to die. He'll astral step towards the right, but the chase is on. Natsumi, how well can you juke out? I think well enough. You'll be just fine. Man, that guy, he was hoping and praying a creep will die nearby, and it finally did to get him that last bit of XP.
just on the edge there. That does mean the supports leave mid, and we can see this from Polaris. Mavis working his way back forward. They just want to stop Yopaj. Tier 1 already under pressure, or Ember can't really do much about that.
Gonna find the Bane. The Scam making sure that Yopaj is okay, but it's gonna cost him his own life. And in the meantime, Tims will drop top lane. Mushi is way behind that tier 1 tower. And Natsumi will finish off the job. I suppose the one positive is they did get Force with that plasma field, but that's about all they get.
Yep. It's not the best trade for Boom. Polaris getting off to this really strong start, 4-1 right now, as they've pretty much taken control of the key lane on mid. Yopaj, however, hits his relief point. Level 6 is up, so you can just play with the remnants, jump across the map, clear out some camps now with a level 2 flame guard, and start to hit his own spikes. Just holding out on the Ember to build up. You are still getting some good aggression down bot, though.
Oh, Mavis. So close yet so far. FBZ just barely able to get in range with the Rolling Thunder to get the kill. And right now, with the start the Booms have, they need every kill they can get. Force gonna get shackled up as well. You don't have the Rolling Thunder. You don't really have a Fiend's Grip either. And Force, you're gonna ask for some rotations from his team. It'll be enough to force Boom back.
And Boom having to play a little bit more cautious. I mean, they still have that kill potential, but the cores are a bit too big, a bit too mobile for them to keep pinned down. They're going to need Scam to hit level 6 to really get a good set of control with the shackles on top of everything else as well. And they're still trying to wait for Yopaj to hit his spikes. He does have a phase boots up, but a max level Sleight of Fist that is a lot of good right-click damage, but not quite enough without the Orb Corrosion.
Now Tim's caught out of the wind range again. Is going to drop, and now Scam, I mean, he's level 3. There's not really much he can do about this. Lelouch going to chase him down. Should be another easy pos 5 pickoff. In the meantime, they do at least get Xavius on the Snapfire, but it's not going to save Scam. But the neutral creeps will. Oh, the neutral creep striking again. Does take down Scam, and well, that is a much more even trade now between the teams.
Feels a lot better there for Boom. And all this movement out is actually forcing Polaris to play less farm heavy. And Boom are making use of that space on the map. FBZ #1 net worth, Mushi #2, not too far ahead, but now Yopaj.
And Natsumi's in. Great Aether Remnant out. They've got Yopaj. Lelouch will take his first kill of the game on the Monkey King, but he's had such a dominant laning phase. I think Polaris, at least so far so good with this draft change up. Really just thinking about who to focus. And as you can see, slow down December, Boom Esports, they might have some issues.
Definitely so. He's scaling for Yopaj. That early power spike he needs isn't quite online. There are still little wins here for Boom. Again, Mushi still finding some good farm, so the Razor spike is still set to go. FBZ as well, having a good time in the bot lane. Basically having a free lane with all the movement coming through should ensure that they find a tier 1 tower to open up a little bit more map space down bot to farm in. So it's not completely shut out from Boom, despite them being 3 kills behind. But the side of Polaris, of course, will look to equalize lanes. Looking for that top tier 1 now. They've been holding on to the RP on Force for quite a while. And Mushi.
Oh, they found Mushi. Top of the net worth board is Mushi. He doesn't want to die like this, but they have so much control. In fact, they even found Scam into the RP on Force. That'll be 2 down. Scam trying to survive with the brain sap, but will not be able to. Still, FBZ is going to reinitiate and re-engage here with Yopaj, but he only gets Xavius. Tims, he's going to show up, chains out on Natsumi, chases on for Yopaj. Is now a nice shackle out from Tims. They've got enough damage with the shield crash, but they might lose this Wind Ranger, and with the skewer out they will. FBZ now, how do you get out of this one, sir? Without a swash? No, it won't matter. TPs are in, he'll turn right back around onto Mavis. Give another kill over to Yopaj. You know, even Lelouch now is on the run. Force going back in. He's off the mark. Does have skewer, but isn't really within range. Mortimer's kisses. They are out, but I think they were expecting a Boundless Strike to lock down FBZ. That never came in from Lelouch, and now Tims. He'll re-engage again. Shackle's already down, but it may not matter. If they've got enough hold here with the Nightmare, they'll go after Force instead. Lelouch, he should be able to find a way out. But Boom, can they at least get this Magnus? Still got the skewer out, and he'll be fine. In fact, now FBZ's been dragged over, but Yopaj will join the fray. Onto the mag again. Force still alive. Shield crash is there. Brain sap out, and the Sleight of Fist will be enough. They'll get something else.
He's under attack.
Yeah, and I think overall for Boom, you're starting to feed some kills onto December, who is far behind. Yopaj starting to catch up off the back of that momentum, has his Javelin up, and we talked about that timing on Ember, Mike. Phase Boots, just the Blightstone and Javelin, with maxed out Sleight of Fist, is a lot of damage coming through from Yopaj. So he has some damage to contribute, he can actually show up, find some kills for himself. All the while, they're giving Mushi space down bot because that bot tier 1 is gone. Your Razor is also building up into that Yule's time. So Boom, despite that slower laning start, weren't overwhelmed enough to lose the net worth lead. Now they're up by 3k. Really good news for Boom so far. As the side of Polaris, I think they're really lagging behind on one here. It's mainly Force. The Magnus has just been forced to be really active, and that is delaying Force's timings into the mech, into the blink, but of which they need to sustain and take these fights.
There we go, Natsumi. A wrap around the long way, but there is vision here on the high ground for Polaris. Arms out on Yopaj, they'll try to burst him down. Aether Remnant does connect as well with the shockwave out. They might have enough and they do. Yopaj, he's already gone. FBZ will keep trying. They might at least get a Grimstroke for their trouble, but they might lose even more. Mushi though, he'll show up to boot. Static link up. He's got the Lush, but the Wukong's command is going to force them back as well. Natsumi, he's about to drop, but not quite enough yet. FBZ, he's got a swash, but he is out of range, and Lelouch is watching anyway. Natsumi barely getting out with his life intact. Boom, they will lose that mid-ember again.
Big win coming out, but Boom aren't backing off. FBZ's just using his body to keep this pressure out, and the grip's out.
Yeah, but a nice cancel with the Boundless Strike. Still Shackles, doesn't really latch onto a tree. They actually leave the Sapphire for a second. Eventually does get taken down as Skem. He'll die, but Force will also go down as Mavis now. Will get punished for taking down the carry of Boom, or rather the pos 5 of Boom. And in the end, I mean, it was a very messy engagement, but I think Boom came out on top.
Yeah, after losing Yopaj, it was bad. The re-engage coming out from Boom did work out in their favor, killing off Force once more, stalling out the Magnus further from that mech blink timing, and even finding that mid-tier 1. So the space has opened up for Boom. It's safer to play in the bot. It's kind of safer for them to play Roshan as well. There's less access points here for Polaris to immediately rush out and re-engage. I think for Boom, this is the time where they can take it a bit slower if they want to. Yopaj, about to hit the Maelstrom timing, does have the gold for it. So his damage output is now fully online. And Mushi, he's got the Yules. Into the BKB next. Once he can just isolate a hero, get the static link Yules combination off, the Razor is just going to be able to run anyone down with his move speed. Just a ridiculous amount of speed for Mushi to keep chasing heroes. I think for Polaris now, they need Force to actually get some room out.
Force, Shackle's gonna land. He got the skewer off, but the chase is on. FBZ racing his way over. Cookie might help a little bit more. Easy will have to chuck a U-turn and just go back the other way. Polaris, they may be able to find a way to punish. They're trying to close the gap on someone. Has 5 heroes, but they catch nobody. Perhaps a smoke. Doesn't look like it either. Still hanging around in this mid lane, being very patient. Yopaj, gonna remnant back. Sumi does manage to take the haste rune for himself, and in the end they are gonna go for the smoke. It's a big rotation forced out from Polaris, so you want to try and get something out of this. If they can catch Mushi on the Razor, that'll be more than enough. Mushi is stuck around at this bot lane, not expecting the smoke to come in. He may be too late to react, or maybe not. They missed the Aether Remnant. In fact, FBZ's here now. Wukong, Soulbind, everything being thrown out. They've even got the of his kisses. Nobody dying quite yet, but FBZ, he gets low enough to drop. Mushi, quite low himself. It does go down in the end. Boom Esports, they try to re-engage, but they get punished as they are still trying to fight. Polaris, though, they're happy to oblige. Tims, nice shackle out onto Natsumi, but Lelouch is watching carefully. Does pick off the Wind Ranger onto the Ember now. No remnants available for Yopaj, no way out. He gets RP down and he'll drop. Another great kill here for Natsumi. That's 4 down for the sake of 1 for Boom Esports. Definitely not great news.
Not good news at all, and I think for Boom, You're choosing to force these fights back the way of Polaris. They had ample opportunity to just accept the loss on FBZ and Mushi, keep building up in Yopaj. He wasn't set up for that fight. He did not have enough mana to sustain his spell spam. And I think right now you kind of just want to slow that game down until your Ember is at the point where he can take control. The Boom have to sort of avoid these fights, because when Polaris groups up like that, if they don't find any more than what they've already previously found, like say, if they only found FBZ and the Razor, you can still rest easy that Yopaj is farming. But because Boom forced themselves to come in, it suddenly becomes a lot worse for Boom and Polaris. Now, the lead's pretty much gone from Boom. 1k lead still stands, but it's not a big enough gap. FBZ and Yopaj lagging behind Natsumi and Lelouch now. And the damage output of these heroes are pretty high. They've got Magnus with max empower. The Monkey King doesn't need to farm too much at this point. And he still wants some build up into the late game. But if he does show up for a fight, his damage output will skyrocket when he does manage to get the Wukongs off.
We've seen it multiple times this game already. Lelouch just hitting way too hard already. And that BKB going to make him that much stronger. It's like, boom, they're going to smoke up. Trying to invade that Radiant Triangle, and they should be just fine to do so as nobody's there. Lelouch, he does leave at the right time. Still wrapping around the long way. You've also got Tims without a smoke. Yopaj has the Invis Rune. He's going to find out the Magnus, so they'll try to force. They try to burst him down, they've got him. Wukongs are boundless, none of it connecting. And knowing that Wukong's down now, you wonder if Boom wants to keep trying to fight.
They've got the Eye of the Storm up shortly. They can maybe force the issue in the mid-tier 2. It's a bit early for that tier 2 tower. I think you'd have an easier time going for the tier 2 bot as an attack angle, but they'll take control of the triangle. Cut off some farm sources from Polaris. Keep building up. Mushi, level 15 now, has that plus 14 strength talent up, so he's a lot tankier in front lines, and the BKB's not too far off for the Razor. So once you've got that BKB up, the only real control you'll have on Polaris is the RP, and we're still lacking that blink on Force. 700 gold away. Maybe a bit of patience now from Polaris needs to come in. Wait for the blink on Force to get some repositioning plays out to follow through with your Monkey King, and kind of play around that. Boom! Off the back of that kill, Mike, back at the 2k lead. Again, not much. It's a very even game so far. But as Boom continuously builds up on Yopaj, builds up on Mushi, and hit these item timings on FBZ, it does feel like Boom's gonna have a little bit more to play with. The spike of the Razor with the BKB just annihilates the Monkey King, and I think that's the worrying part for Polaris' draft. If Mushi just focuses on Lelouch with a static link, then Lelouch's damage just disappears.
That it does. Top lane, Natsumi just trying to push out the wave. No kind of counter action here from Boom. Heroes coming up though. Polaris really wanting to just establish their dominance in this area. Easy, he's been a bit of a menace on this Pango. In fact, now they catch him out. Natsumi, they'll land the 8th Remnant into the kisses. FBZ though has the mech up, gets the Rolling Thunder off. In fact, he's going to turn around and go for the fight. This man's lost his damn mind. He just cannot get enough of it. They get Mavis, but how do you get out now, FBZ? The 8th Remnant's off the mark, but he does go down. He's too bloodthirsty, FBZ. It's now Mushi's going to show up. Lelouch, though, he does have a BKB up. He's happy to force a fight, but not with the static link out. He's lost too much damage. 85 to be exact. Now Polaris, oh, nice power shot. Plasma Field going to give the vision, but do they have anything to cancel? They didn't have the vision in the end. Scam couldn't quite get there for a Nightmare or a Fiend's Grip. Xavier's, he's kind of just stuck doing the running man with his mount there, John, in the top corner, but he'll be okay. Lelouch, he's not out of danger yet either. They see him jump, the power shot barely misses the tree he was on. In the end, I think Lelouch will be just fine as Boom. Getting very bloodthirsty from this side, but they've accepted the fact that they've got to leave now.
Yep. Pull back. Wukong's is down for a bit longer, so Lelouch isn't the safest, but the side of Polaris are still willing to 5-man. I think all of this movement out of Polaris is again cutting off farm, although Yopaj.
Another nice kill if you can get December. The help is incoming, but they've got so much damage, they've already got him down. Natsumi gets the job done. FBZ, he's trying to chase down Mavis, but that's only a support you're getting. And he's got help behind him. Lelouch will jump in. RP's out. Force has got him. At least the Razor, but Mushi, he's got his own BKB now. He'll try to turn back on the monkey, and the shackle comes out. Tims, he locks down Lelouch. They'll be able to find him, I think. He'll try to mischief out, but there's no way. He does end up going down as they go for more now. Force is the next target. FBZ dropping a little bit long off with the shackles again from Tims into the Fiend's grip of Scare. Just perfect. Mushi, he's not done. He wants a bit more jump. Into the tier 3 tower. They'll get Mavis.
Oh, boom. They're just not relenting. Tier 2 still stands, Mike. They're diving behind it, going up to tier 3s. They're not done.
Oh, they're not done. Xavius, just run, sir. Go back to the fountain. Your home is not safe right now. FBZ, though, he may get punished to get jumped. One of his kisses out. He's trying to juke them out, doing the old sidestep. And it looks like he is going to be fine for now. Oh, no, he blinks out instead. FBZ, stop it. That's enough, sir. I think he's been watching you pass the past 2 games, John. He wants to show off a bit himself. He's got back in. FBZ, that's enough. You see, in the end, they're going to get you, FBZ. You've got to calm down.
He didn't have an easy way out, to be fair. Tier 2 again standing on mid and bot. No real lane to run out. And his jungle was cut off by that good movement from Lelouch. So, good punishment from Polaris to kill one hero, but Boom still found the better end of that trade earlier on. Diving behind enemy lines works out fine. Still, opportunity for a bit of a push here from Polaris, but the Fortify is still there. Boom, Push is ready to go. He's got his yields to save himself. Play, but that tower's not going to stand too long there. He will just surrender it. Still, item spikes coming out here from Boom. Ags being rushed by Mushi after that BKB. Once you have that Ags, again, Eye of the Storm hitting buildings is going to be pretty big, and just even more strikes can increase the damage output of everyone, because minus armor plays into Yopaj, plays into FBZ as well. Heck, you can even count Tims on the Wind Ranger as benefiting from some minus armor there as well. So it's going to be important for Mushi to find out. They've had issues holding down a Razor. Once the BKBs pop, he static links Monkey King, and he doesn't do anything. Like, you could RP the Razor, sure, you can't skewer him away from the Monkey, and that just leads to easy control from Boom to handle that win condition right now in Polaris.
Polaris still not out of this game yet, John. 4k net worth advantage for Boom, but one team fight could swing that all around. Natsumi picking up the full Kaya Sanj. It takes here on this Void Spirit, going straight into that Aghanim Scepter, and he's seen the target, but he's been enjoying getting all game, but Yopaj, quick reaction. Right out. Back now, Shackles, Tims, he's going to re-engage in the same spot. This is like the 3rd time we've had a team fight here. He's got the cast up as well, John. Don't underestimate that cast. It's a very strong win as another Shackle catches out Lelouch. He can't get the Wukongs off yet, but the RP's there. They've got Mushi down, stunned up, but can they get the damage out? Not quite yet. Mushi, he's fine. There's the chains, the re-engage. They've got Force, they've got Natsumi, the Void Spirit. No, he's still alive, Mushi. He's dropped too early, but Tims, he'll get the job done. In fact, it was Yopaj who keeps another nice Shackle onto Lelouch.
Oh my god.
Oh, Tims, he's looking for more. He's feeling it now. Xavius, he's going to TP out just fine. You know what, John? I told you I wanted Tims on that Mirana. He got the Wind Ranger instead, but he's still that Filipino sniper we talk about sometimes, John. Very, very dangerous on these supports. He's just been magnificent this game.
He's been on point. He's not been lining up kill shots, but the Shackles have been setting up for the rest of the team to build off of. And just all that control coming through is just ridiculous. Polaris, it just feels like they're supposed to have bigger team fight than Polaris. I don't know how to explain it. They've got RP, they've got Wukongs, but they can't get the spell used right. Boom come in a very staggered manner. Right? They come in as 2 heroes, they have Mushi up front, they let him cop the one-man RP with a BKB running, and then suddenly they don't have follow-through with that RP. The physical output's not enough to rip through the Razor, and he can just run out. And then suddenly the backup comes in, you get the grip off, you have the Rolling Thunder ruining their position. Like, there is, from Boom's end, you know, they technically don't really have the best AoE control. Right? They've got Shackles, they've got single target control from the chains, and they've got the grip, Nightmare. it's only really Rolling Thunder you have for wide AoE, but they still make it work. Polaris, they're just funneling in as 5 every time. Whenever one Boom hero shows, they need to go for bigger RPs, bigger control. They have to isolate more heroes in their spells. Because Mushi alone, the backup's there, and you can't kill him fast enough.
Mid lane, boss being forced upon right now as the Rolling Thunder is there. The gust again. Look at this.
Oh,
with the static link, you can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. Mushi, he'll take down 2. And that's a combo we never thought about, Chop. The gust for the static link just makes it impossible to get away from the Razor.
Really does. You move way too fast in Mushi. Running against the gust just doesn't line up. You could run with the gust. I think that's probably your best bet, actually. Just run with the direction of gust, hoping to break it with that little push forward. Still not enough. And Roche being cleared out, the kisses are there to break off, but that just reveals Mavis's position. Forced back. No follow-through from Polaris. First Aegis likely to go away here. Boom, no contest from Polaris, and 2 lives on Mushi or Yopaj is going to make a massive difference as it does go Mushi's way. So if you couldn't kill this Razor once, I don't know if you're going to be able to kill him twice over. Yopaj as well, Mike. Ag's almost done, and we've seen this from Boom before. We've seen games where Boom are severely behind. The Ags come through from Yopaj, he just seals the deal. This time they've got a 9k lead. That Ag's still coming up a really decent point, and you just don't have enough control for Yember. Like, you get the silence off, sure, he's got heals to save himself now. It has to be RP on Yopaj, but Force just doesn't see Yopaj. Yopaj just hides until the RP is used, and then he comes in, making it very difficult for Polaris to find the angle.
Bot lane, they're now going to just try and force this in, Polaris. So all they can do right now is the last few team fights just has not worked out their way. Dragging out way too long. Aghanim Scepter up now on Yopaj. It's just now, it's just so hard now. Mobility, the damage they get done. I mean, Lelouch, he had a great start to the game, but he has fallen behind this Razor. Working towards that Eye of Skadi now, but still a well a ways off. No defense for this tier 2. It's just going to go down for free.
Yeah. Again, the Ags up in Lushi, these objectives don't stand for too long. Lelouch still trying to split push on that bot lane, trying to maybe force a response out. Looks like Polaris aren't quite ready to commit onto the high ground. Going to be playing it safe, maybe looking to clear out tier 2 towers first, and just play it steady. 9k lead, you're not in quite the rush here for Boom. You can kind of play it slow, keep building up, and just look for opportunities. Polaris being very defensive now, not declumping at all for the most part, playing under vision where they can, and just ensuring that no one gets picked off from this massive spike from Boom.
They really can't afford to lose another team fight, not while that Aegis is up. That's just guaranteed high ground. Yopaj will take a haste rune for himself, so even more mobility on this Ember. You're thinking about forcing it very soon, I think, if you're Boom Esports. So you've got to try and pay some attention to this bot lane, but that is still the bot lane. They might just force the tier 2 mid and go high ground here. The 2.5 minutes they have left on that Aegis for Mushi. Static link out, Natsumi. Plan to back off. Very close to the Ags up now on the Void Spirit to boot, so there is some utility coming for Polaris, but it's more impactful, of course, after the BKBs are already committed and expired. And in fact, they're going down bot lane. Tims, he gets a shackle onto the Monkey King right into the Fiend grip. He's done it again, John. Basically setting up the kill on his own, and Mushi, he is a very happy coach right now as all the tips come out for Tims. Coach Mushi approves.
Yeah, you gotta respect that. Tims putting up so much work for the team here, getting the shackles that he needs to. And it's so impressive that even Lelouch has to respect that vision game, that on-the-edge plays coming out from Tims there, and that opens up a lot now. High ground kind of opened up for Mushi. He is alone here, though, but he has Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, alone or not, John, he's pretty strong right now. I don't think it really matters, as Force is the one that needs to get out. Soulbind is there. Mavis, he'll try to survive, but Mushi is relentless. Still, he needs a way out now. He'll south up. I think Skem threw a south over to his Racer in the middle of all this. Not that it really matters at this stage of the game scam, but you know why the hell not? Tier 3 tower is about to drop, but they'll get the Mortimer's Kisses. Try and buy a bit more time. You don't want to force these buybacks if you can avoid it, but they are moving in now with the focus fire. They are committed. Still trying as Mushi is quite low in HP. They might at least be able to get the Aegis, and they do. Now double chains out though. Rolling Thunder to come in, but FBZ, he cancelled it off immediately. RP, no, quick Yules out. Very, very quick Yules out onto the RP of Force. Who was that? Oh, of course it was Japoy. Who else would it be, John? It's got to be the Idol.
Absolutely. Holds back Polaris' defense fight. They are still trying to run forward. Lelouch getting the information out, but Boom managed to retreat right in time. And that's actually really good Aegis use on Mushe. I think he only had about 40 seconds left on it. So he kind of just timed it right, had himself get a free reset, and now he has a full Assault Purus up. So the Razor's really not going to die to the physical damage output of that Monkey King, if it will have any at all once the static link is committed. And Yopaj again, what he ags up, just going straight for refresh. Exact same build we see from Yopaj when he has his Ember. Just wants to be able to jump around, wants to be able to burst heroes down. And there's nothing stopping Boom now. They're going to go for that bot tier 2 here, Mike. The side of Polaris. Again, look at them position themselves. They're playing as 4 in that top jungle. They're just trying to play it safe, because they're running out of space to actually play 1-by-1. Yopaj is under the Monkey King's vision though.
So many things to allow him to get away. He's being very cheeky here. Yopaj will go down to the bot lane now. He just knew the whole time they were watching. So they'll trade tier 2 towers. This is the best Polaris can do right now, is just accept the tier 2 tower trade. Not much else they can do to fight back here against Boom Esports at the moment. But they've got to defend high ground. They do move up. Mushi, okay, with that Aghanim Scepter, takes down this tower quite fast. Force looking for a nice skewer back, but no, the Yule Scepter gonna save Mushi. Have to wait at that skewer. It is back up in 3 seconds, so not a very long cooldown. Force could go again, but Mushi, he's been keeping up on Lelouch with the static link out. Lelouch is still trying to fight within the Wukong's command, but it's not looking great. Mushi, he might finally go down, and does. Just 1-for-1. They make it a 2-for-1 as Natsumi gets caught in the back. They don't have buyback on that Void Spirit, but I think they can still defend as long as Mushi does not buy back himself. So I think Boom will have to back off. Though I say that, FBC again, being a madman, it does jump in. That'll force a buyback out Mavis. Meanwhile, Force almost going down to the Magnus, and FBZ, he is going to get punished for the jump in. In the meantime, though, Yopaj, he does at least trade Force. That'll be enough.
They will manage to get the retreat. Tim's still being scouted out here by Lelouch though.
Tim's might turn. In fact, Yopaj, he'll go in first. He found the Sapphire. Power shot is there. Xavier's still alive somehow, and oh, now the Shackles is there. They don't have a Fiend's Grip out, but it may be enough to control Lelouch with his focus fire. And Yopaj with the chains, but Alice and Jingu is up. Lelouch, he can heal up, but oh, no, he can't. The Slider Fist. It's too quick. A double kill out for Japoy is now Xavier's. He just brought back the Tron health. They'll skewer back Yopaj. I'm not sure that's great. The Shackles was there as well from Tim's. And now Natsumi, he has respawned. Maybe that's enough for Boom now.
Should be it, but Razor's about to respawn, Mike. So Mushi's gonna be back up. I don't think they wait. Yeah, TP right to the outpost. That's 4 heroes back up. FBZ 20 seconds away. Bottle refill as well. Efficiency coming out. There you go. Full bottle coming through from Mushi. And Japoy's gonna be happy. They can go again. I mean, there's no stopping it. RP still down for 20 seconds. It's gonna be up by the time you can pull it off in the team fight. But Boom just... there's nothing stopping them. Why stop?
I don't see a reason to, John. You do have buyback on the Monkey King, so you've got to be a little bit wary of that. Lelouch can come back at any moment. And naturally, he doesn't want to commit that buyback gold right now, as he's already short. Skewer? No, the Yule Scepter again, just too quick. just way too quick. FBZ's hit with the Rolling Thunder as well. Back in the Magnus. They'll just control force up in the other side. The shackle out from Tim's onto Natsumi and Lelouch. It's not looking great because they got the feed grip off. Lelouch has died back immediately, and now they can just clean up. Natsumi, he can't survive either. They don't have the firebacks, and this game's over. GG's called. BTS Pro Series Season 9 will go the way of Boom Esports. The back-to-back champions, John. They've done it.
I mean, boom. They just play out of their minds. BTS Pro Series 8, BTS Pro Series 9 champs for Boom Esports, going back